Yo Legends! Welcome back to the channel. Grab your headphones and lock in, because today's story is on another level. Want the next chapter? Drop a comment below, and if the legend continues, I'm bringing it straight to you. Disclaimer: I do not claim ownership of this story. All rights belong to the original creators. Note: I'm constantly tweaking the settings to make it as immersive as possible. One Pace, The Nightmare of the Four Seas. Chapter 41. Marine Headquarters. Marineford. 12 people sat in a circle and started this roundtable meeting. Aokiji Kyuzen glanced at the people present. Although he still looked sleepy, his eyes were full of solemnity. Ah la la la. If we just want to encircle and suppress Whitebeard, would such a large-scale deployment be necessary? Sengoku, who was sitting in the main seat, coughed and answered Aokiji while curiously looking at the young man next to Zephyr. After all, he is the oldest among the four emperors. With this lineup, they can barely give Whitebeard a grand funeral. The woman wearing a white military cap slightly adjusted the brim of her cap, without giving any respect to the Marshal Zhang Guo, and spoke directly. Are you calling us here in such a hurry just to encircle and suppress Whitebeard? A woman with ice blue hair, with a hint of coldness in her eyes, stared closely at the Zhang Guo who had a braid tied on his chin. Ahem. Isn't this just in case? Zhang Guo turned his head away in embarrassment. Indeed, this kind of lineup, to encircle and suppress a Whitebeard, was indeed too exaggerated. The three veteran admirals of the Navy, Admiral Sengoku, Navy hero Garp, the two monarchs of Fraxinus, Black Arm Zephyr, Razor Enel, Navy Chief of Staff Vice Admiral Tsuru, and two admiral candidates at the Navy headquarters. The 12 people present are fully capable of defeating an imperial group! Honestly, with this kind of lineup, they can completely destroy the Whitebeard pirates even without hostages! Esdeath tapped the table with her fingertips, looking impatient. She was fighting well with that guy Kaido, and was almost exhausted and defeated. But then Kizaru suddenly came and took her away. It was so annoying! Is Esdeath someone who can't stand losing? After Kizaru rescued her like this, how would Kaido look at her? Next time they meet, he will definitely laugh at her for being a weakling who could only barely escape with the help of her teammates, right? Esdeath. Commander Gakawa, how are you doing lately? The shadow covered Kyuzen's face, making it difficult to see his current expression. However, from the sound, it can be heard that Kyuzen is not in a good mood. Katori. Esdeath raised her eyebrows, and her beautiful legs, which were tightened by black silk, were raised up, and her eyes were full of playfulness. She is certainly doing well. Last time she told me that she fired a cannon at the admiral with the main gun of the Flaxinas. Kyuzen lowered his eyebrows slightly, with an expression in his eyes that no one could see clearly. He tried hard to suppress his boiling emotions and said as calmly as possible. Come to think of it, I have never visited Flaxinus's main ship. That is my fault. After this war is over, I will definitely pay him a visit in person. Kyuzen emphasized the word visit very much, as if he wanted to kill someone. Zhang Guo saw that most people had arrived, so he didn't care whether anyone was chatting or not, and directly started the topic of this roundtable meeting. This time, I hope everyone here can take this battle seriously. In today's ocean, it is difficult to guarantee that there will be no other factors involved. So many people have been summoned for this war, and the main targets of defense are three parties. First of all, the threat of Kaido can be temporarily eliminated. Thanks to someone, Kaido is not as belligerent as usual. Sengoku glanced strangely in the direction of Esdeath. He had been fighting with Kaido for half a month. Although he was almost killed by Kaido in the end, this time Kaido definitely satisfied his crazy desire to fight! To a certain extent, thanks to Esdeath, the Navy now has one less person to worry about. In addition, nightmares require special precautions. How dare you attack the Admiral of the Navy? That's simply lawless. Zhang Guo clenched his fists, and was troubled by the unstable factor of Tokisaki Kurumi. Even though the Navy is now more powerful than ever, even the special branch of the Navy, Fraxinus, has 3 admiral-level strongmen, and has gathered more than a dozen top strongmen. However, when facing the nightmare, Jan Guo still felt a little weak. The main body is rarely used in the sea, and the combat power of hundreds of clones is enough to involve the admiral of the navy. Even if so many fighters who have reached the level of admiral attack together, there is little chance of killing Tokisaki Kurumi! Don't you see, even if you offend the 5 elders, Big Mom red-haired Shanks, but the little girl is still alive and well, and even keeps causing trouble on the sea. Wow, is this a nightmare? It's really scary. A glimmer of light flashed under Kizaru's sunglasses, and it seemed that he was not too afraid, just like before. Humph, Quang-san. Ignore her for now. Akenu snorted coldly at first, but he did not shout to kill the damn cancer on the sea as he did in the past. Oh, it looks like Sakazuki has a special relationship with Tokisaki Kurumi. Kizaru said jokingly, wanting to know if there was any inside information. But what responded to him was Sakazuki's look, as if he was looking at a dead person. Wow, I won't ask anymore. Yellow Monkey raised his hands in a gesture of surrender. The curiosity in his eyes was obscured by his brown sunglasses. When the Navy saw the scene, everyone was stunned. Ghost Spider, Flexinas, is it a branch of our Navy? Chatten Kaji, no, are you kidding? The high-end combat power of the branch is almost stronger than that of the headquarters! Mamasato Teian. It turned out that the force that aimed a shot at General Aokiji was actually one of our own Aokiji. Kyuzen face darkening. Can you please stop talking about this? The me in the parallel world was bombed, but it wasn't me who was bombed. Smoker. There doesn't seem to be any difference. They are both Kyuzen Aokiji Kyuzen. I want to curse Smoker. I feel like the Zephyr teacher in the parallel world is more energetic. Monkey D. Garp. Ha 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 ha. This Zephyr reminds me of Zephyr in the Valley of the Gods. During the Valley of the Gods, although Zephyr did not directly participate in that unprecedented melee, he had already become famous in the Navy. At that time, Zephyr was as strong as a monster. A burning heart of justice, a fist filled with iron will, and a serious attitude towards enforcing the law impartially. Although Zephyr did not become an admiral at that time, he was recognized as having the combat power of an admiral. What he relied on was not the armament haki that was cultivated to the pinnacle, but the forged heart of justice. Willpower is very important for the strong. Chapter 42. Zephyr Black Arm. In the parallel world, I didn't lose my wife, so it's only natural for me to be so energetic. When Zephyr said this, he couldn't help but feel a little envious. If his wife hadn't died, he would have been like Zephyr on the sky, sitting at the meeting table of the Navy's top brass and participating in the frontline work, right? Shiki the Golden Lion. Ha 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 ha. Ling Ling, you idiot. I finally got rid of you! Shiki the Golden Lion. The Navy of the parallel world is pretty strong. Shiki the Golden Lion. Garp. Sengoku, Zephyr, none of them are missing any limbs, and they look very troublesome. The 5 elders almost burst into swearing when they saw the round table meeting of the Navy in the parallel world. Is this the Navy? There are 3 admirals in charge, and you told me this is just a Navy branch. Among the 12 people in the meeting, the weakest are all admiral candidates. Such power is almost comparable to the hidden power of the world government, right? The 5 elders secretly made up their minds to curb the power of the Navy and maintain the balance of the sea. Otherwise, if the Navy can develop to that scale, it is only a matter of time before the 4 emperors of the sea are destroyed. Even the 5 old men may not be able to control the Navy. There is no way. The rules of the sea are like this, and the strong have the final say. The most shocked people, besides the 5 elders, are the captains on Whitebeard's ship. Lakaio, are you kidding me? If the father in the parallel world rescues Ace when the Navy has set a trap, he will die, right? He will definitely die, right? Vista, a woman who can fight against Kaido, the Beast, the 3 veteran admirals of the Navy, the benchmarks of the Navy in the old era. Such a lineup is really dangerous for us in the parallel world! Port this D Ace. I in this parallel world won't cause my father to die in Marineford, right? Marshal D Teach, sweat on forehead. Ha 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 ha. This is really scary. The Navy. With such a scary lineup, it seems that my dad won't be able to survive. Marco, Teach. You bastard, you dare to curse your father! Marshal D Teach. Ha 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 ha. this is not a curse, it's just stating the fact. Diamond jaws. Teach, you traitor! Exclamation Charlotte Linling. Well, that's what I said. Among the sons adopted by the idiot Whitebeard, there will definitely be unfilial sons. A son who has no blood relationship with you is unreliable! Exclamation Kaido. Old woman. You are wrong. Even if they are your own children, they are unreliable. Yamato's stupid son actually chose to play a dead person! Exclamation Charlotte Linlin. Well, just give her a couple of beatings, and that's it. A good son is born under the stick. Brother Kaido, you are not a daughter's slave and can't bear to beat your daughter, right? Suspicious Kaido, stop kidding. Old woman. It's not like I haven't beaten you before! Exclamation Yamato. I want to be Odin's man! Exclamation Kaido the beast with a dark face. Go to prison and reflect on your actions! Exclamation Yamato. Even if you can suppress me for a while, you can't suppress me forever! Exclamation Charlotte Linlin. Well, it seems that this is not just ordinary rebellion. When watching the four emperors discussing the education of their children, a Navy hero who was picking his nose also had a look of emotion on his face. It seems that I didn't hit him too lightly, and my lovely grandson actually came up with the idea of going out to sea as a pirate. No, next time I meet Luffy, I have to let him feel the iron fist of love from his grandfather. Monkey D. Luffy, what? Isn't that big ear? He actually joined the Navy! Exclamation Nami, that arrogant god I met on Sky Island. Did he choose to join the Navy in a parallel world? Enelu, what is the Navy? I am a god who ate the thunder fruit, so I will not join any faction! Exclamation Buddha's warring states, thunder fruit. Top-notch natural system. Young man, come join the Navy! Exclamation Enelu, no way. I'm busy conquering the universe on the infinite land. Black Arm Zephyr, my destined disciple, come to Marineford! Exclamation Monkey D. Garp. Hey, Zephyr, I haven't accepted a disciple in a long time. How about you let me take this kid named Enel? Black Arm Zephyr, get lost. Apart from people from your family, who else can withstand your training method? Monkey D. Garp. Hey, I trained Luffy to be a supernova after all. Before he finished speaking, Garp felt guilty. Cultivating a supernova, isn't that giving the Navy an enemy? On the sky screen, the meeting about the Navy finally came to an end. Chabeati Archipelago Origami Master is walking towards a high-end restaurant with his little follower Califa. Today, she made an appointment to meet someone here. Origami, here. The girl with bandages wrapped around her smooth, white arms was hopping and waving at Origami Master, with a bright and cheerful smile in her crimson eyes. Bending 3. Origami walked towards where Bandage 3 was without hesitation. His blue eyes were calm but full of affection. Benson, this is a gift for you. Origami found a swimsuit from the bags in Califa's hand and handed it to Bandage 3. Origami is indeed my best friend. I have wanted to go on a beach vacation for a long time, and this is the perfect opportunity. Bandage 3 took Origami's gift with a smile on his face, and then led Origami into the box. Oh my, I really spent a lot of money. I bought so many things. Origami-chan, wearing a pure white dress, she looked like a Barbie doll. She looked similar to Kwang-san but was a size smaller than her. It's sweet 3. Tobiachi Origami's seemingly calm eyes could not help but light up when she saw the sweet lowly Kwang-san. The pure white dress is as soft as snow, and the lace pattern makes the lowly looking Kwang-san look a little sweeter. A beautiful bow is tied around her waist, outlining her petite girlish figure. A pair of white leather shoes with beautiful floral decorations on the uppers complement her dress and make her look like a delicate and lovely doll. This is for Qian Sanjiang. Origami Tobiachi is quite familiar with and likes Kurumi's clones. The one given to Bandage 3 was Tsukimizu, and the one given to Sweet 3 was a brand new pure white dress, but it had a little less fabric than the one on Sweet 3. Chapter 43. Califa swallowed her saliva, and her dry throat felt a little relieved. Her beautiful eyes looked at the three people in front of her in shock. The girl with a white bandage on her smooth arm, the cute loli in a white dress, sitting on the main seat, maintaining the style of a noble lady, elegantly and calmly holding a knife and fork to enjoy the food. Nightmare! He cut off one of red-haired Shank's arms, bravely broke into the headquarters of Big Mom's pirates, and killed the nightmares of multiple celestial dragons! Khalifa felt a little dizzy. Her superhuman physique was not enough to deal with the nightmare. Her heart twitched and nearly fell into a coma. Horrible! Terrible! Just standing in front of her, the murderous aura was like a demon crawling out of hell, strangling her breath tightly. A casual glance at her made Khalifa want to kneel on the ground and become a mindless puppet. Origami-chan, this dress is really quite adult style. The sweet little Kwang-san glanced casually at the dress Origami gave her and couldn't help but smile softly. What? How can there be a dress with a cut on the belly because of the consideration of breathability? I specially asked the store manager to order the minimum amount of fabric. Tobiachi Origami said this in a serious tone, but her azure eyes were fixed on the sweet Lolita-style Kwang-san. That's really thoughtful. The sweet lowly version of Kwang-san's beautiful eyes were curved like crescent moons. She gave Tobiachi Origami a thumbs up, with a hint of ridicule and appreciation in her smile. Kwang-san sauce. Long time no see. Tobiachi Origami walked lightly in front of Kwang-san, her slender little hand fluttering like catkins, quietly grasping the gently shaking cup of coffee in Kwang-san's hand. Origami, long time no see. Kwang-san tilted her head slightly, her beautiful face still showing the calm and composed expression, and she did not feel the slightest bit of embarrassment because of Origami's inexplicable handshake. Kwang-san sauce. Although I have said it before, but I still hope you can listen to me one more time. Be my bride. Although there was still no emotion in her words, Tobiachi Origami's eyes were more serious than ever before. Miyo dressed in JK uniform. Kwang-san crossed her hands in front of her chest and rejected Origami without hesitation. Knew it still got rejected. Tobiachi Origami was not discouraged, but stared at the beautiful girl in front of her with a burning gaze, and said as if she was swearing an oath: I will not give up. Tokisaki Kurumi stirred the fragrant coffee and nodded perfunctorily, with a casual expression. Khalifa was almost dumbfounded. Why is it that she is finding it increasingly difficult to understand the origami process? It's okay if you like girls. After all, this kind of thing happens on the sea, but why does it always feel a little bit wrong? The Navy's genius vice admiral turned out to be a bootlicker, which is really shocking. In the chat room, Shiki the Golden Lion, a woman who likes women? Ahaha, that's really rare! Monkey D. Carp. Shiki, you're laughing too early. Could it be that you've changed your taste and are into men? Shiki the Golden Lion, how is that possible? Doug Garp. There is absolutely no problem with my orientation! Monkey D. Garp. Ha 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 ha. Aren't you also a little girl who likes women? After hearing Garp say this, many powerful people on the sea also discovered the blind spot. Yes, now that the Golden Lion has used the reincarnation opportunity, he has become a little girl who was born not long ago. Isn't that also a little girl who likes women? Whitebeard, Gulala, Shiki is going to find a girl to marry in the future? That's really rare. Charlotte Lingling. Haha, Shiki, my dear daughter, although mommy likes men, you are also my baby. I will support you in pursuing your own happiness. Just go ahead. Haha! Chatten Kaji. I can't help but laugh when I think about how the famous Golden Lion has turned into such a cute and delicate little girl. Redfield. Haha. Shiji, be careful not to be cheated out of your body. Rocks D. Jibek. Ha 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 ha. It's a pity that I'm dead now, otherwise I would have the chance to appreciate Shijai's current appearance up close. Charlotte Lingling. Hey, old captain, let me tell you something, Shijai is super cute now. Whitebeard. Gilala la la la, Lingling, let's take a look at 2 photos! Charlotte Lingling. Well, Newgate, you want to covet my precious daughter? No, you're old, you'd better not have any wild thoughts. Whitebeard. Tuhahaha. I just want to see what Shiki looks like now. Shiki the golden lion. Hey, do you really think I'm some little girl monkey garp? Ha 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 ha. Shiji, you should just go back to your mother. Charlotte Lingling. Well, don't worry, little Shiji, I will love you well. Whether you want to find the princess of the kingdom or the beauty of the sea, I will do my best. The scene on the sky curtain continues. Origami started to dress up in a closed box. 2 pink cat ears are tied in her hair, and there is a furry tail on the hem of her skirt. She squatted on the ground and imitated the sound of a cat. Meow tilde Gyalong Tokisaki Kurumi, who always behaves calmly and maintains the style of a noble lady, couldn't help swallowing her saliva after seeing Origami's new outfit. Too cute. Kwang-san could hardly take her eyes off Origami, who was wearing a pure and flawless white maid outfit. That outfit made Origami look as fresh and refined as a lily, making her heart flutter. 2 cat ear hair accessories are tied on the smooth and shiny light white short hair, which makes people want to reach out and gently pinch them. Especially the long cat tail behind her, which sways gently with her steps, adding a bit of playfulness and temptation. Kwang-san had to admit that as a cat lover, she was really moved at the moment. Origami's current appearance was simply teasing her heartstrings. Meow tilde Origami was lying on all fours, her cheek brushing against Kwang-san's smooth, white thighs, acting like a cat and flirting. Kwang-san's red lips couldn't help but dry up. Looking at Origami, who had transformed into a cat-eared maid, her little hand couldn't help but reach up. Really, acting like a kitten in front of her is simply cheating. Chapter 44. Khalifa looked at the scene in front of her in shock and had already thought of a headline for Morgan's. Shock. The indescribable relationship between the Navy's genius female vice admiral and the nightmare disguised as a cat just to please one person. The vice admiral's mind is getting weird! Khalifa took a half step back without making a sound. She saw Tobiichi Origami being played with by Nightmare until her ears turned red. She thought to herself, I shouldn't think he would be silenced, right? Wow, Origami is quite creative. The sweet Lolita form of Kwang-san raised a sly smile on her face, staring at the original body that was stroking the cat's tail without blinking. I've been caught. What a shameful entity. He is actually a cat slave or something. Isn't that too lame? Bandage 3 had an angry expression on her face. Looking at Kwang-san, who was caught up in the rhythm of Origami, she couldn't help but punch her twice. As expected. This original body is lame. It was actually made into an origami shape. It's so embarrassing! Ah, what a cute little kitty. The sweet lowly Kwang-san suddenly screamed, where is it? Where is the cute little kitty? Bandage 3, who had just looked down on the main body, shifted his attention and followed the line of sight of sweet Lolita 3, but saw nothing. La. It seems to have run away. Sweet Lolita 3 covered her mouth and smiled coquettishly, watching Bandage 3 despise the original body 1 second, and then look at the kitten like a senior cat slave the next second. It's really interesting. Hey, you dare to play tricks on me. Even if you are me from a different timeline, I will never forgive what you have done. Bandage 3 clenched his fists, black lines appeared on his face, and he pounced on Sweet Loli 3 like a hungry tiger. Unfortunately, the Sweet Loli 3 was well prepared and escaped directly into the shadow space. Boom! As expected, Bandage 3 missed his target, and the red mark on his forehead turned blue, and he fell into a dizzy state. Lululu, stupid idiot, can't catch it. Sweet Lolita-san escaped from the shadow space, and seeing Bandage-san hit his head, he couldn't help laughing and taunting her. This Bandage can endure ignoring the dizzy little head. Bandage 3 looked fierce. You are unforgivable. How dare you play tricks on the Shadow Monarch? Bandage Sanshui's eyes were filled with tears due to pain, making her look like a crying kitten that was bullied. Khalifa watched this farce with her mouth twitching slightly. Why do I feel that these two clones are different from the previous Nightmare clones? I always feel that it lowers the level of Nightmare! It's shameful. Tokisaki Kurumi, who was still immersed in Lumao, glanced at the two childish ghosts and couldn't help but sigh. So, why does she have such a dark history? The relationship between Bang-san and Gan-san is as good as ever. Tobiichi Origami said calmly. seeming to be used to the fight in front of her. The corner of Kwang Sen's eyes twitched. You call this a good relationship? Didn't you see that Bandage 3 was about to take out a machete to attack Gan San? Burrow, tilde. The voice of Den Mushi suddenly rang out. Tobiachi Origami's pale blue eyes glanced at the purse under her skirt, and she took out the Den Mushi and answered the call. Mashamoshi, is it Lieutenant General Origami? Mashamoshi, may I ask, is Vice Admiral Origami still in the Sabayati archipelago? Yes, I'm here. Marshal Sengoku has ordered Vice Admiral Origami to personally take action to eliminate the vicious pirates who kidnapped the Celestial Dragons. Kidnapping the Celestial Dragons? Origami was clearly confused. She didn't expect that such a thing would happen during a casual date. That's right. According to reliable sources, the pirates who kidnapped the Celestial Dragons are the Straw Hat Pirates. I see. After Origami hung up the Den Mushi, she bowed slightly to Tokisaki Kurumi. Sorry, Kurumi, I need to go to work. After Origami finished speaking, before Kwang San could respond, she stepped lightly and was about to leave the box, but was stopped by a soft and tender little hand. Origami-chan, at least change your clothes before going. Tokisaki Kurumi had a helpless smile on her face and pointed at the cat ears and tail on Origami. Indeed, Vice Admiral Origami wearing this outfit is a bit of a loss of face for the Navy. Califa gave a gentle advice. Yeah, I know. Origami calmly took off the pink cat ears and tail and threw them to Califa. As for the maid outfit on my body, I am too lazy to waste time changing it, so I might as well just go on like this! Kwang San had a faint smile on her delicate face. She watched Uni Origami leave and followed him. In the box, only the sweet Loli 3 and the Bandage 3 were left playing around. As for Califa, as a little follower, she naturally follows Tobiachi Origami. At the auction, Colonel T. Peng N, I have notified the headquarters. The life of the Celestial Dragon is threatened, and a lieutenant general will definitely come to check it out. The Navy soldiers are reporting to Colonel T. Pen, who was seriously injured in the abdomen. A skinny face was revealed, and he was crying bitterly as he looked towards the auction house. There, the supernovas were fighting fiercely. Sparks were flying everywhere, igniting nearby houses. The surrounding civilians were in panic and ran around. Unfortunately, in front of the powerful pirates, these civilians are just fish on the chopping board. Many sadistic pirates wielded machetes and maces at the civilians with crazy smiles on their faces. It's all my fault. If I were stronger, so many innocent civilians would not have been implicated. T. Peng N just tried to stand up and stop the hateful pirates from killing civilians, but the severe injury to his abdomen stopped him from moving. How can I stop? My justice will never stop here. T. Peng N roared loudly, forcibly enduring the severe pain in his abdomen. Blood dripped onto the ground, but he still stood up stubbornly. Chapter 45. Akinu Sakaski, although a little weaker, but in terms of justice, it's pretty good. Whitebeard, the Navy, there are always a few idiots who will do anything for justice. Charlotte Lingeling, well, although he looks a little shabby, he has a pretty good will. Roranoa Zoro, the Navy we encountered on the sea train? It was a very strong Navy. Monkey D. Garp, ha 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 ha, it's decided. I'm going to take this T-Bone as my subordinate! Black Arm Zephyr, go to hell, Garp. Do you know what a swordsman is? Asking you to teach is simply misleading! Monkey D. Garp, hey, Zephyr, I don't agree with you if you say that, as if you are a swordsman. In a casino in the New World. Xiao, with his arm bandaged and wooden shoes on, closed his eyes and muttered to himself. It's amazing. I didn't expect that I could still see things with my eyes after I destroyed them. Thanks to the magic of the sky curtain, even a blind man like Xiao can see the pictures above. T. Peng Bone? An admirable will adjust existence to protect civilians? I think he would get along well with me. He nodded slightly with a smile and made an evaluation, but he had no intention of joining the Navy. After all, thanks to the chaos caused by the Straw Hat Boys' bravery in Impel Down, the Whitebeard Pirates and the Navy did not fight at the Navy headquarters. Although the Navy is short of people now, The Navy Marshal Sengoku will definitely not make an exception and promote the newcomer to the rank of admiral. With his strength, he always feels a bit disadvantaged if he does not become an admiral. Colonel, don't rush forward. Those are the supernovas of this year. It's the gangster godfather Capone Becky. The colonel is in danger. At the auction site in the Sabayati archipelago, seeing Tengu rushing forward without a care in the world, the Navy soldiers tried desperately to stop him. After all, given the colonel's current damaged condition, if he can't rest in peace, someone could die! Seriously, can't you just lie down? Why do we have to fight so hard? The long blue-purple hair sparkled in the sunlight, and the silver eyes were full of confusion. You've done your best, and you're just here for vacation, right? You didn't even wear a Navy uniform, and your superiors didn't blame you for something like that when the celestial dragons were attacked. Besides, you are already an old man in your 50s, so don't shout like the young people about burning my justice or something like that. Just lie down obediently. When Tengu heard the girl's voice, he ignored her and looked at the civilians in distress. He couldn't help but put his hand on the hilt of the knife. Even if he dies, he will carry out his own justice! Oh, really? The girl with lavender hair looked troubled. Seeing Tengu desperately trying to die, she couldn't help but speak. Please, lie down here and take a nap. Purple notes came out of the girl's mouth and entered Tengu's ears. The moment Tengu heard that, he couldn't help but close his eyes. A strong feeling of dizziness surged over him like a tide, as if the whole world was spinning. The magic of those words, like cold arrows piercing his ears and piercing deep into his soul, brought him a dreamlike and dazed feeling. It was like being bewitched by the magic of language. His consciousness was pulled by a huge force that he could not resist. His body swayed uncontrollably. His consciousness seemed to be pulled away, and he fell into chaos. He felt like he was drunk, and the whole world became blurry. Unable to resist the invasion of this power, Tengu could only let himself lie on the ground and fall asleep in obedience to the will of the voice. That's great. At least the colonel didn't go to his death. Thank you, beautiful lady, for helping us. Master Miku, you are in the Sabayati archipelago? After witnessing the purple sound waves, the Navy soldier concluded that the lady in front of him was a person with special abilities, and thanked her with an expression of thank you for your great help. But among the voices of thanks, a fan's voice was mixed in hum. Will you meet fans here too? A hint of surprise flashed across Yui Miku's eyes, and she murmured softly. What a coincidence, but I'm not free today. If we meet again someday, I'll give you an autograph. Yui Miku clapped her hands, her eyes narrowed like crescents, and she put her fingers to her lips, signaling the surrounding navy to be quiet. The surrounding navy, after seeing Yui Miku's ability, naturally would not be ignorant and obeyed the order and kept quiet. For a moment, the only sounds around were the cries of the common people, the laughter of the pirates, and the voices of the idiots shouting that they wanted to become the pirate king. In the chat room, Kizaru Borsellino, well, how much does a Navy captain get paid a month? Why would he risk his life like that? Akenu Sakaski, humph. Even though I hate deserters, I also don't want to see unnecessary sacrifices. In this situation, don't try to be stubborn and just follow the soldiers to get treatment! Akiji Kyuzen. What a rare gentleness. Sakaski Akenu Sakaski. I just don't want to see the righteous navy making useless sacrifices! Buddha's warring states. Tengu are a veteran now. As I recall, you were a student in the first elite naval training camp, Black Arm Zephyr. Yes, I am from the same class as Sakaski and Borsellino. Although he has limited talent, I remember him as a very hardworking guy. Akenu Sakaski. What? You are from the same class as me? Why is you only a Colonel Yellow Monkey? Borsellino. Wu tilde Sakaski. There are still many ordinary people on the CT Pengu. I'm sorry. Although my strength is not strong enough. But I will try my best to hunt down the pirates and let the civilians live a safe life! Akenu Sakaski. I don't mean to blame you, forget it. When I become the marshal, I will promote you to Lieutenant General. Buddha's warring states. Hey, Sakaski, I haven't retired yet. Are you starting to win me over, Akenu Sakaski? Humph. Some of them are almost 80 years old, right? Just retire. The Navy should be handed over to someone more capable! Kizaru Borsellino. Kuwa Ikai tilde is Sakaski planning to compete for the marshal position? Aokiji Kuzan. Ah la. This is really unexpected. Jagalusha Satan. The power transition in the Navy should not take place at this critical juncture! Ismbaran v Nasujiro. Sakaski, don't disturb the Navy at this time. The 2 words of admonition from the 5 elders made Sakaski feel a little unhappy. He was desperately fighting pirates on the sea, while these 5 old men were sitting in their offices drinking tea and giving orders. It was really annoying. Rox D. Jibek, has the world government's watchdog been trained? You're allowed to keep barking! Charlotte Linlin. Well, it's just a red dog. A mad dog that comes at the beck and call of the 5 elders and is still fighting for the position of the leader of the Navy admiral. It really makes me laugh. Jan Guo's face turned black, looking at this group of rampant pirates. He threw the newspaper to the goat behind him fiercely. No, before I retire, I have to kill one of the 4 emperors to vent my anger. Otherwise, I can't let this breath go. Chapter 46. Origami Tobiichi finally arrived at the auction site in Sabayati Archipelago. The sky blue eyes looked at the scene that looked like hell on earth, causing a ripple. Pirates do not engage in production. They only know how to plunder, kill civilians, and do all kinds of evil. Tobiichi Origami didn't say anything, and remained expressionless as usual, just holding the hilt of the sword. Vice Admiral Origami. Great, we can finally put an end to these supernovas. Finally, we can give Colonel T-Bone an explanation. If he knows that the chaos has been stopped when he wakes up, he will be happy, right? Hey, why does Vice Admiral Origami's sword only have a hilt? Idiot, that's the lightsaber that Dr. Vegapunk developed specifically for Vice Admiral Origami using Admiral Kizaru's laser technology. Tobiichi Origami didn't pay attention to the words of the Navy soldier, but pointed the hilt of the sword at the auction house in the distance. In the Navy, she is not a hawk, nor a monkey, nor a hawk who turns a blind eye to some dreamy pirates. When it comes to pirates, Tobiichi Origami generally believes in killing them all. But this time is an exception. In order to cooperate with the plan of the Navy's top brass, Drake was sent as an undercover agent by the Navy to infiltrate the pirates. This time, she won't kill any supernovas. However, it is inevitable that there will be signs of missing arms and legs. Brush! As light and swift as silk, the clear white sword light burst out from Tobiichi Origami's hand. In an instant, the sword light seemed to pass through the air, condensed into substantial power, and rapidly extended from the hilt, like a giant dragon riding the clouds, stretching to a length of hundreds of meters. The power of a sword shakes the world. Hundreds of pirates, under this sharp sword light, seemed to be facing the blazing sun. Their bodies were instantly evaporated without leaving a trace. In the end, they could only stare with their eyes wide open, their faces filled with fear. What a great navy! The woman with long pink hair and heart-shaped lipstick on her delicate face was too busy to play with the navy. Her observation haki sensed a hint of chill in time and avoided the sword just now. Not only is his swordsmanship amazing, but he also has a deep understanding of observation haki. Noticing that the sword just now was not in the hands of any Navy soldier, Bonnie couldn't help but exclaimed brush! The white sword light that even a Navy captain could not see with the naked eye wiped out most of the pirates present in just a moment. Apart from those supernovas, only a few creatures with relatively high life strength can barely stand. Vice Admiral of the Marine Headquarters, Tobiichi Origami. Trafalgar Law couldn't help but grit his teeth to relieve the tension. Although there are weaklings among the lieutenant generals who even supernovas cannot defeat, the upper limit of the lieutenant general's strength is not low! Navy hero Monkey D. Isn't Garp also a lieutenant general? But who, including the 4 emperors, dares to look down on him, and Origami Tobiichi is a monster similar to Garp! Since his debut, he has annihilated more than 80 pirates with bounties exceeding 100 million! Her methods were so ruthless that she didn't look like a girl at all. Even Jack the Drought of the Beast's pirates was defeated by this woman. She is definitely a powerful admiral in the Navy. She was not promoted by just her seniority! Now, we are in trouble. At the Navy headquarters, Marshal Sengoku looked at Tobiichi Origami with a burning gaze. With this strength, she is fully qualified to be a candidate for admiral. Quick, notify the intelligence department to search the entire ocean for the girl named Tobiichi Origami, and also check if there is any news about Fraxinus on the ocean. A gleam of light flashed under the toad glasses. Although this person only appeared in a parallel world, there may be such a person on the ocean. As long as we can find a talent that can be cultivated, it will add a lot of combat power to the Navy. Joracle Mihawk, light sword. It looks more powerful than Kizaru's Kusanagi sword. I wonder how strong it is compared to the black sword Yami Yellow Monkey Borsellino, Kuwa Ikai tilde Doctor. Vegapunk in the parallel world actually created this kind of extendable lightsaber. It's so scary, Vegapunk. I always feel a sense of frustration seeing my parallel world self create a general version of Seraph and invent a lightsaber. I feel defeated. Caesar Crant. Come on, Vegapunk, you can also feel frustrated! Vegapunk. Caesar, I'm the one who made me feel frustrated. Why are you so proud, Kaido? How despicable. The Navy actually sent undercover agents to the pirates. This is terrible! Charlotte Lingling. Well, it's like what that old yen and coin from the Warring States period could do. Redfield, it's a dirty world. Shiki the Golden Lion. Humph, isn't this sinister and cunning old man, Sengoku, still thinking of using other people's sons as hostages to lure Whitebeard to the Marine headquarters? Whitebeard, Gilala. To put it nicely, he is a wise general. To put it bluntly, he is just an old silver Buddha's Warring States. Humph. It seems that the Sky Curtain has its pros and cons. Drake, your mission is over. Come back now! Drake. Marshal Zhang Guo, I'm in a bit of trouble here, and I may not be able to go back. Crocodile, an undercover agent planted by the Navy. You're an interesting guy. Let me see your limits! Buddha's Warring States. Nanny. Drake. You met the sand crocodile a half I am loud X Drake, Marshal of the Warring States period, not only crocodile, but also the Shemale King Akenu Sakaski. How can we stop? Damn pirates! Akiji Kuzen, la Drake, any last words? Regardless of the battle between Drake and Crocodile, the scene on the sky screen continues after killing thousands of pirates who were trying to bring chaos to the Sabayati archipelago. Tobiichi Origami did not waste too much energy and slowly walked towards the direction of the supernova. Watch out. The red-haired young man wearing a dark red coat and goggles on his head had a mysterious and confident fierce smile on his face. His arms were formed by a large number of magnets. The person who came was none other than one of this year's supernovas. Eustace Kidd! Of course Kidd knew the famous Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. It was precisely because he recognized him that he could not wait to rush out. As long as he can kill the lieutenant general in front of him, his bounty will definitely increase dramatically! Your chance to make a name for yourself is today! Kidd's eyes were filled with excitement. The magnetically covered mechanical arm gathered a large number of magnets, as if it could tear the sky apart and break the earth. Tobiichi Origami's eyes flickered, and she did not take it lightly. In the sea, there were also strong people who could hide their aura. At least she had trained under Admiral Zephyr, so Tobiichi Origami would not make the mistake of underestimating the enemy. Physical strength is like a surge in river, flowing continuously through the hilt in the hand into the lightsaber. Origami Tobiichi looked at Kidd, who was rushing over recklessly, pointed the blade at Eustace Kidd, and decisively chose to release the lightsaber form at full power. The energy of the light cannon gathered in an instant, forming a brilliant light that illuminated the entire space. As the roar sounded, the explosive force swept in like a violent wave. In an instant, the shock wave generated by the light cannon instantly hit the arm wrapped around the mechanical device, making a deafening explosion. The machine wrapped around Kid's left arm was instantly melted by the blazing energy, and the flying sparks sprayed everywhere like a meteor shower. The blast caused the surrounding air to distort, and before a flaming broken arm could fall from the sky, it vaporized into ash and dissipated in the air. Chapter 47. Did you survive? Tobiichi Origami holds a lightsaber, expressionless, with her sky-blue eyes sweeping up into the air. There, a large rock replaced Kid's position and turned into debris. Eustace, cheer up. In addition to one of his arms being cut off by Tobiichi Origami, Eustace Kid's incredibly high temperature almost made him lose consciousness, and he could only barely stretch out one arm. Kid. The killer warrior Kira saw that his brother not only lost his arm, but was even in a critical condition. He roared and chopped at him with two scimitars. You guy. Her lavender hair fluttered in the air. In this chaotic battlefield, Yui Miku's voice was particularly clear. Her pink lips parted slightly, and she shook her head slightly to make her comment. You are too impulsive. The power of the elves cannot be matched by a mere supernova. As expected, Origami's indifferent eyes caught the movements of the person in front of him and responded. Although she didn't quite understand why the other party used the blue and white striped kichako as a headgear, Origami still chose to give him the same treatment as Kid. In Origami's hand, the power of the lightsaber reached its peak, and a torrent of light shot out from the sword, carrying the power to destroy everything, pointing directly at Kira. Just like a death announcement, it rushed towards Kira with coldness and ruthlessness. Room. A cross appeared on Liuo's forehead. Why are these guys more impulsive than each other? None of it went according to his plan! Kira's figure was exchanged with the broken rudder, and the light cannon missed again. But the Origami master reacted this time, and turned the light cannon around and fired in the direction of Trafalgar Law. Tramon gritted his teeth, then used the power of the surgery fruit again to transfer the space so close. Liuo wiped the cold sweat from his head, looked at the scorched earth destroyed by the laser cannon, and slowly put Kid down. Room cut. Almost instantly, Liuo swung the blade in his hand, locking onto the space where Origami was, and the light blue blade light cut through everything! Good ability! Origami nodded slightly and said expressionlessly, divine and powerful spiritual outfit. Level 1. The dress is like a carefully crafted work of art, flawless white, as pure as a wedding dress, wrapped around the delicate body, showing an indescribable magnificence. The fair and slender legs are gently wrapped in silky white stockings, showing the legs are extremely graceful. The extended skirt is spread out like angel wings, light and elegant, giving people a sense of transcendence. The suspended golden substance represents one of the Sephirot of the Kabbalistic tree of life. The crown! The dark blue eyes slowly open, and Tobiichi Origami finally used the power of the elves! The pale blue blade flashed across the night sky like a ghost, extremely sharp, but it could not penetrate the delicate wedding dress. Every thread on the dress seemed to contain an inviolable power. The blade passed by without leaving even a scratch. How can it be? There was not even a single injury caused. Beads of sweat appeared on Liuo's forehead. He clenched the ghost cry in his hand nervously, with an incredible expression on his face. He finally realized that the gap between himself and his opponent might be much greater than he thought. Call out! A figure appeared in front of Liuo like lightning. It was Tobiichi Origami. Her fist was wrapped in armed haki, and the power released was like a storm. Although her armament haki is not as good as Kapsif's top-notch armament haki that was forged through countless trials on the battlefield, it is not weak either! Hardening, winding, externalization, internal destruction. She knows everything she should know, and can also use the crackling and dazzling electric sparks that are unique to top-level armed color domineering. Room. Angel of Extinction, light sword. Liuo's figure disappeared again, flashing hundreds of meters away, but this time, before Liuo could use the power of the surgery fruit again, a blood hole suddenly appeared in his lower abdomen, and blood gushed out like a fountain. More than 20 small floating guns appeared silently in the air. They locked onto Liuo's figure, and the surging light waves instantly penetrated his body. Puff. Liu lay half lying on the ground with difficulty. He stared blankly at the bloody hole on his lower abdomen. His eyes went dark, his consciousness gradually blurred, and he finally fell down. In the chat room, Chatten Kaji, is it so perverted? There is actually a second stage Rain Shuryu. With that sword that can cut through iron like mud, he is already one of the best swordsmen before he transforms. After the transformation, he seems to have the ability to teleport and quickly chase down enemies. Black Arms Alpha, Angel of Extinction? Come to think of it, Reed, you seem to have drawn it, right? Redfield, it is indeed the reward I drew. According to what I have discovered during this period, the teleportation ability is to teleport at will within the range of vision. Fujitora smiled. What an enviable ability, so convenient! Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fufufu, you are a blind man, you can't use this ability even if I give it to you. Fujitora smiled. Buddha's warring states, teleportation ability. The speed at which he appeared behind Trafalgar Law just now did not seem like that of a moving Redfield. Not only teleportation, but also, according to my perception, the Angel of Extinction seems to have 3 other forms. Yellow Monkey Borsalino, Kuwa Ikai tilde 4 forms. It's really scary. Ghost Spider, damn. Why do I feel that the angels that appeared in the parallel world are even more perverted than the devil fruits? Wandering in the new world, Liu, with a spotted hat on his face, was lying on the deck to rest. Of course, he saw the scene on the sky. It was because of what he saw that he was so shocked that he didn't even want to open his glasses. It was really too depressing. The parallel world self was beaten up by someone, and everyone in the sea saw it. This kind of thing is simply too embarrassing. Monkey D. Garp, ha 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 ha, the vice admiral of the parallel world actually has the power to kill a supernova in 1 second. I'm so proud of him. Black Arm Zephyr, is this my student in a parallel world? Yes, another monster level Akenu Sakaski, possessing a high-end combat force that is more than twice as powerful as our world. If I can lead the navy of this parallel world, I will be able to destroy the great pirate era in one fell swoop! Charlotte Lingling, oh my, are you daydreaming before dawn? Watchdog of the world government, go to bed early. Yellow Monkey Borsalino, although I don't really want to attack Sakaski, the high-end combat power in the parallel world is full of troublemakers. Even if you, Sakaski, take the position of marshal, I guess you can't command a few people. Akenu Sakaski, Borsalino. Dog-headed angry face, which side are you on? Kizaru Borsalino, look at what you said, Sakaski. I naturally support justice. Although Akenu was very angry with Borsalino, Sengoku's eyes lit up. Borsalino, this bastard, could actually see this. It's really unexpected. That's right, the navy of the parallel world is full of troublemakers, and Sengoku, the wise general, has already seen this. Esdith dared to go to Wano country alone to challenge Kaido, and would rather die than retreat. Gakawa Katori bombarded Aokiji, and she was a celestial dragon, which was even more difficult to deal with. As for Tobiichi Origami, although she is doing her best to wipe out the pirates. But, have you forgotten that your original purpose was to let this group of pirates escape and cover Drake? Looking at the 3-no girl on the sky, Sengoku covered his head with a headache. Chapter 48. Allah, you are really capable. A supernova with a bounty of over 100 million defeated 3 in just a short period of time. Tokisaki Kurumi lifted her bangs slightly, revealing the golden clock on her left eye, and licked her delicate lips. Just such a simple action makes the opposite want to possess this woman. According to the predicted results, Straw Hat Luffy will suddenly appear in half a minute and interrupt Origami's lightsaber that is stabbing at Trafalgar Law. Almost at the moment when Tokisaki Kurumi made her prediction, Tobiichi Origami had already raised the lightsaber in her hand, pointed it at Law's head, and was about to stab it. A hint of hesitation flashed across the dark blue pupils. Origami is struggling over whether to kill the pirate in front of her. The order she had received was that in order to protect Drake, none of the supernovas present could be killed. In addition, the pirates who kidnapped the celestial dragons must be detained and impelled down. This is an order from Admiral Sengoku himself. Origami can disobey, and even if he disobeys, his salary will be deducted. However, for the sake of the overall situation and future plans against Kaido, we still have to protect Drake. However, Liuo was now under her lightsaber, and it would be too fake if she let him go! After struggling for half a minute, Origami finally decided to swing her lightsaber at Liuo. No matter what, even if the marshal's order is a supernova, it can't be killed. But if we just kill one, it shouldn't have much impact on the plan, right? What are you going to do to Traman? Rubber tomahawk. The Straw Hat Kid in a red jacket stretched out his arms like rubber, grabbed Liuo with one arm, and then his leg muscles instantly tensed up, swelling like a balloon, accumulating powerful strength. Boom! Suddenly, the power accumulated in the legs burst out like a flood. A deafening roar, like thunder exploding in the sky, echoed in the air, and a powerful destructive force spread out in all directions with Luffy as the center. It was like the power of a strong wind and huge waves, instantly blowing up the gravel on the ground and splashing everywhere. The originally flat and unobstructed road surface instantly became bumpy under the impact of this force. Tobiichi Origami looked calm and relieved. Fortunately, it seems that this pirate with a spotted hat is quite popular. Some people actually risked their lives to save him. In this case, we can still give in a little and let the supernovas go. However, when she saw the man in front of her, or more precisely, the straw hat in front of her, Tobiichi Origami was obviously stunned for a moment. Straw Hat. Shanks. Recalling 10 years ago, on a fertile island in the East China Sea, the sun shone on the golden beach, and the sea breeze carried a salty and fresh taste. At that time, she was still a little girl, innocent, holding hands with her parents, strolling on a bustling food street. At that time, she was carefree and enjoyed the endless love and care of her parents. Everything seemed to be going according to the trajectory of her life, extending towards a happy future. But that day, with the arrival of the red-haired man in a straw hat, everything was ruined! The battle between red-haired Shanks and another pirate forced everyone in the town to lose their lives one by one! Seeing her parents being affected by the battle right in front of her, she felt helpless and almost collapsed. That scene became an eternal pain in her heart. Thanks to Tokisaki Kurumi's timely intervention. Otherwise, whether she could survive the battle between Red-Hair Shanks and another pirate would be another matter! The flame of anger burned in the blue eyes. Origami Tobiichi looked at the straw hat boy in front of her, and her figure overlapped with the red-haired Shanks from 10 years ago. Do you know Shanks? Luffy scratched his head and asked curiously. In the chat room, Shiki the Golden Lion, ha ha ha, the cruel sea always produces these kinds of guys who suffer unexpected disasters and become stronger with hatred! Doberman, red-haired Shanks. What a sinful man! Huasheashin. As expected, pirates are pirates. Even the 4 emperors with the best reputation are just pirates! Aokiji Kyuzen, ah la la la, the pirates fight has implicated innocent people. This is really disgusting. Gord D. Roder, ha ha ha, fighting is always inevitable! Ben Beckman, Shanks, that idiot. Would he actually hurt civilians on the flagship of the Red Hair Pirates? Shanks, who was originally holding the banquet to celebrate the broadcast on the sky screen, froze with his hand holding the wine glass when he saw the description of Tobiichi Origami's psychological changes on the sky screen. Did he hurt others? Not the pirates who were determined to go out to sea, nor the navy who obstructed him in order to enforce justice, but innocent civilians. I am indeed a bit sinful. Shanks drank the orange-yellow wine with mixed feelings, and his face was a little drunk. It seems that the psychological trauma of that year has not been completely healed even now. But that's true. After all, ordinary people can't stand that kind of almost pathological dependence. During this period, Quang-sen's slender and tender fingers rested on her smooth white chin, with an expression of watching fun on her face, which did not stop Tobiichi Origami from venting. She used a bullet that can predict the future. Straw Hat Luffy's journey will not end here. A bullet that can predict the future? The tall bamboo shadow in the flower room condensed his eyes, and immediately speculated wildly about Tokisaki Kurumi's ability. Since he can predict the future, can he also travel to a point in the future? Im opened the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia and focused his attention on a page. Time Fruit ability to travel to a future time point by designating oneself or a specific object according to the will of the ability user. Shiki the Golden Lion, predicting the future. Can you do something like this? Isn't that a special kind of observation haki that can only be born among millions of people? Whitebeard. Stupid Shiki. Didn't your brain stop growing after you became a little girl? Didn't Tiamu say that it was Tokisaki Kurumi's own ability that gave her the ability to predict the future? Shiki the Golden Lion. Baka, baka. Of course I know about this kind of thing. Newgate, you are the fool! Vegapunk. Well, it seems that the body of the opposite as a child does have a great influence on the adult soul. Akiji Kuzen. Ah la la la, can you predict the future? If I have this ability, I will definitely want to see what my future wife will look like. The picture on the sky screen is no longer Tokisaki Kurumi, but Tobiichi Origami. As the number closest to 0 on the scale of 1 to 10, Tobiichi Origami's strength is naturally extremely powerful. Angel of Extinction Cannon Crown. More than 20 small floating cannons were stacked together in the blink of an eye, forming an extremely cool silver-white turret, pointing in the direction of Straw Hat Luffy. Tobiichi Origami's dark blue glasses were filled with murderous intent. Even though she knew the person in front of her was not Shanks, she still couldn't control the murderous intent boiling in her heart. Chapter 49. Boom! The black sphere spread outward with Origami Tobiichi as its center. The space earthquake that occurred 30 years ago coming again! Uiomi couldn't help but curl her lips, looking at Straw Hat Luffy with a look of disgust and a conflicting feeling of having to protect him. If Yuta knew that I did nothing, our relationship would definitely be broken, right? I really owe her. Uiomi sighed helplessly, clasped her hands together, and said sorry to Tobiichi Origami. Although I like the saying of the 3 no beautiful girl, but for Yuta, I have no choice but to go against you. Oh, you are so willful. The spirit of song. Uiamiku, the dark hair, tied on the left and right, was slightly messy, swaying in the air with light and kitsch laughter, revealing uninhibited indulgence and joy. Under this black hair, a dress with the main colors of blood and black tightly wrapped around her slender figure, dyed with the deep color of blood, blending with the shadows, like the brightest star in the night. Crazy 3 Sauce. Uiomi was not particularly angry at Kurumi's weirdness, but put her hands together beside her face and tilted her head slightly. It's just as tempting as before. No, it's better than before. Tokisaki Kurumi elegantly lifted the crimson skirt, slightly bent her knees, and a magical beck sounded in the dark. Well, thank you for your compliment. A faint smile appeared on Yuxia Miju's lips, and her silver eyes could not help but stare at the beauty in front of her. Although I know her goal is to kill all the elves, I still can't help but like her. Crazy 3 Sauce, but it's quite charming. Origami Tobiichi was trapped in the center of a large space earthquake, but she did not panic too much. Instead, she calmed down and thought about how to escape. If she wants to leave, she can use teleportation to leave at any time. But in this case, the entire Sabayati archipelago might be destroyed by the destructive force of the space earthquake. Although I am not very proficient in controlling the power of space shock, but now that things have come to this, I can only try it. Tobiichi Origami took a deep breath, her blue eyes filled with determination. The same blue-black ball of light appeared at the center of the space earthquake created by Uimiku. The dosage should be appropriate. Just like the lollipops produced in the factory, H1 is the same size and is offset by the same force. Recalling the commander's instructions from Fraxinus, Tobiichi Origami opened her blue eyes wide, and all the spiritual power in her body resonated with the neighboring world. Boom! The strong space shock finally cancelled each other out, and the world fell into calm. Today is another peaceful day. Tobiichi Origami looked around. She wanted to know who released the space shock that caused Straw Hat Luffy to escape her pursuit. Anyone who stands in her way of revenge will pay the price! Tobiichi Origami's vision was as sharp as an eagle's, and she quickly found the culprit of this space earthquake. She was a plump girl wearing a moon-shaped hair ornament, emitting an eye-catching glow, and her bright yellow dress tightly wrapped around her delicate body. The white gloves gently wrapped around her 10 slender fingers, making her look graceful and charming. The top was decorated with lace-like light bands, which fluttered gently with her light steps, adding a holy and inviolable temperament. Diva. As a vice admiral of the Navy, Tokisaki Kurumi is well aware of the intelligence of many powerful people on the sea. Tokisaki Kurumi frowned slightly, and her dark blue eyes did not show much emotion at this moment. To read the exciting novels, go to Falu Novel Network. Although Origami cares about those who hinder her, she also understands one thing. Since I have decided to be her enemy, no matter what excuses she makes, she is still my enemy. Tokisaki Kurumi pointed the light cannon at Uemiku with great momentum. Suddenly, a deep hole opened under Tokisaki Kurumi's feet, and a figure in a blood-red dress kept falling down. Well, good luck to you. I hope you, as a fellow elf, can withstand Origami's wrath. Watching the girl disappear, Uemiku covered her lips and smiled softly, her eyes looking towards Tokisaki Kurumi. The two people's eyes intertwined in the air, and there seemed to be a sound of electric sparks. On the other side, the boy in a straw hat wearing a red jacket was dragging Trafalgar Law with one hand and stepping on the propeller, moving quickly towards the direction of the Wanli Sunshine. No. To Telemann, you must hold on. Luffy was running, and he didn't forget to cheer for Law. Luo stretched out one arm tremblingly, and his face came into close contact with the ground. The sharp stones rubbed his face. Idiot, stop dragging me along! In less than 5 minutes, the handsome Trafalgar Law had dozens of wounds on his face, and his face was swollen like a pig's head. And all this is thanks to Luffy, who just risked his life to save him! He really didn't know whether he should be thankful that he had a chance to survive, or cry for his disfigurement. Chat room 900. Bibo, the captain of the parallel world, is so miserable. He can't even make money by performing in the Spring Queen City. Trafalgar Law, damn it. I never did that! Monkey D. Luffy, hee hee. I didn't expect that the me in the parallel world actually saved Trammon's life. Kaido's mouth twitched slightly, looking at Law, who was being dragged away by the straw hat boy on the sky. He slapped his head hard, and for a moment he couldn't tell whether this was saving someone or being an enemy. It seemed that he did save him, but he was also disfigured. Trafalgar Law, the straw hat master, next time you save someone, can you check the patient's condition first? Nami, idiot. Luffy, who taught you to save people like this? Tony Chopper, Baka Baka. Luffy is such an idiot. Monkey D. Luffy, what's wrong? Just tell me whether he can be saved or not. Even though there was a screen between them, Nami could still see Luffy holding his nose with a slightly confused expression. Her blood pressure instantly rose, and she picked up the red book and smashed it at the scholar on the small island. Quick, teach me how to create a snowstorm. The scholar who was hit had a simple and honest face, and was not angry at little Nami's behavior. She was just a girl with a straightforward personality. Chapter 50. In a sea area in the New World, 2 pirate flags fluttering in the wind, symbolizing the 2 sea emperors of the New World. If young people all step down, their bodies won't be able to bear it. Marco stood up and kindly reminded the crew, but he didn't think that even if he retreated, where could he retreat to under the suppression of that terrifying domineering aura? Even if I retreated into the cabin, it would just be a more comfortable place to sleep. Marco had just finished speaking when a dull sound of footsteps was heard, which seemed to make one imagine the sound of wooden clogs stepping on the stairs. When the pirates around Marco heard the footsteps, they all fell down like drunks. Is it late already? Marco looked serious, raised his eyebrows, and looked at the man who was walking towards him. Here comes red-haired Shanks, one of the 4 emperors of the New World. A man who can dominate the sea even after losing an arm! Deep black radia, half I am Lao, a half I am Lao, a half. The overlord's aura surged and spread, covering everything around him. It was so majestic that even the sky seemed to change color. The sky was suppressed as if covered by a thick layer of haze. The solemn and murderous atmosphere makes people's hearts palpitate and terrified. Gall D. Roger, this is Shanks. Ahaha, has Shanks actually grown to this point? He's really domineering. Kizaru Borsellino, wow tilde just through the picture, I can seem to feel the suffocating conqueror's hacky. Marco, it's the time when Shanks came to our ship before. Jaws, HMPH, a group of guys with unsatisfactory psychological qualities. Monkey D. Luffy, how strange. Why did so many people faint as soon as Shanks came out? Pluto Rayleigh, stupid Luffy, didn't I tell you all? That's Conqueror's Haki, a power that only one person and millions of people possesses. It can release one's own aura and stun the enemy. Monkey D. Luffy, what, so that's what it is? Rocks D. Jebek, wow, hahaha, the purity of this Conqueror's Haki is very high, it's almost comparable to Roger back then. Whitebeard, HMPH, red-haired kid, although I don't want to admit it, but in terms of the domineering degree of Conqueror's Haki, it's indeed not inferior to that bastard Roger. Gall D. Roger, what, so that's what it is? Rocks D. Jebek, wow, hahaha, the purity of this Conqueror's Haki is very high, it's almost comparable to Roger back then. Whitebeard, HMPH, red-haired kid, although I don't want to admit it, but in terms of the domineering degree of Conqueror's Haki, it's indeed not inferior to that bastard Roger. Gall D. Roger Gall D. Roger, hey, Shanks has grown to this point, then Buggy, who is also a trainee, must not be bad either? Red-haired Shanks, Backy, I really miss you. The last time we met was in the East China Sea. Buggy, damn Shanks. Who would miss you? Don't be so self-indulgent. Gall D. Roger, hahaha. Little Buggy is still so energetic. Shanks has become one of the 4 emperors, so Buggy, you must be doing well too, right? Pluto really. Little Buggy has been doing well recently. He just established I started a courier company and was even invited by the world government to become one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Crocodile, 7 warlords of the sea. This guy? Stop kidding. What kind of joke is the world government making again? Gecko Moria, haha, the position of 7 warlords of the sea is not so easy to take. You can lose your life if you are not careful. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufu, I don't want to have a meeting with idiots. The veteran 7 warlords of the sea are very disdainful of Buggy, a little pirate who is only a little famous in the East China Sea. Although Buggy was revealed to be an intern on Roger's ship, so what? People without strength will not get any respect in this sea. Senryoto Buggy, hey, who wants to be in the same position with you guys? I don't need the title of Shichibukai. Jagalusha Satan, you really refused? Forget it, we have already found new Shichibukai candidates. Crocodile, nonsense, do you really think we are all sand? You 5 old guys have already prepared the replacements for Shichibukai Crocodile. It's only a matter of time before Seraph replaces the Shichibukai. Only then will sand become the Shichibukai. Edward Weeble, Mom, some people say we are fools. Miss Backen, ignore him, my dear son. You are the man who has obtained the title of Shichibukai. Sooner or later, you will inherit your father's position. Edward Weibel, Mom, I will listen to you. Crocodile, where did this idiot come from? Is this the Shichibukai newly recruited by the world government? Has the quality dropped to this level? Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufu. Crocodile, don't underestimate the new Shichibukai, he is the man who forcibly cut off the admiral's arm. Marco, Nanny, could it be Zephyr who cut off the admiral's arm? Jaws, really? He cut off Zephyr's arm? He is indeed qualified to join the Shichibukai, but the world government is not afraid that Zephyr will have an opinion by doing this. Crocodile, so, those 5 old guys always come up with bad ideas and even recruited such idiots into the Shichibukai. Black Arm Zephyr, hee. The world government powerful red and black lightning scraped across the deck, forming several long plow marks. Red-haired Shanks dragged a huge wine gourd. which looked very much like the endless wine pot of the fox demon sister Yaya next door, and slammed it hard on the deck. Don't look at me like that, I came here with some healing wine. Red-haired Shanks showed a cheerful smile. He was not too embarrassed even when he boarded the enemy ship. He was not afraid at all when he saw the captains who were on edge. Humph. Seeing your face really reminds me of some unpleasant things. Whitebeard sat on a chair without even a shirt on, revealing his broad chest and scars extending to his neck. There were Roman 4 bottles and beautiful nurses all around, and next to him was a supreme sword. I don't mean to fight today. I just want to discuss something with you. Red-haired Shanks showed his big white teeth directly, but none of the captains standing next to him believed his lies. Nonsense. He released his domineering aura right from the start, knocking out more than half of the people on the boat. You call this a lack of fighting spirit? They've already shown their power to show their authority, so they're definitely planning to start a war, right? Marco stared at red-haired Shanks and thought of a woman he had met before. That woman could use the scarecrow to control his body, and even complete the action of hanging him upside down and twisting his neck! And that woman was a member of the crew of the Navy Special Air Branch Fraxinus! The commander of Fraxinus is the sister of red-haired Shanks! Just being teased until he was buried in the sand was enough to make Xiaomaji very unhappy. Although it's a bit embarrassing to get angry at the little girl, but if it's Shanks, then there's no scruples. Hey, don't look so scary, Marco. It wasn't me who caused you to be buried in the ground. As if noticing the terrifying sight coming from behind, red-haired Shanks turned his head slightly, and the red and black lightning flashed like thunder, shocking the captains of the Whitebeard pirates. You guy. Marco gritted his teeth and did not act rashly. Even if he did, he would probably be hit by the unavoidable and extremely domineering divine dodge, and would need several weeks to recuperate afterwards. But Dad has decided to go to war with the Navy headquarters soon, and he can't fall behind at this critical juncture! Gilala, forget it. All of you retreat, my dear sons. To read the exciting novels, go to Falu Novel Network. Let us be alone. As Whitebeard finished speaking, Marco nodded calmly and pulled all the unconscious pirates away without disturbing the reunion of the 4 emperors. Shanks poured the clear liquor into a bowl that was bigger than a millstone, and threw the wine gourd to Whitebeard. Gurgle. The huge wine gourd in Whitebeard's hand has become strangely normal in size. Drinking the wine from Shanks' hometown, Whitebeard's eyes showed a hint of nostalgia. It's been a long time. The apprentice kid on Roger's ship. Shanks did not act like one of the 4 emperors. He sat on the deck without restraint, picked up the bowl that was bigger than his face, and drank a generous sip. What about the red-nosed kid who was your intern? Is he dead? Whitebeard looked down at Shanks, who was only 2 meters tall, and asked about Buggy's whereabouts. Pirate on the 4th floor of Impel Down. Well, so impressive. Boss Buggy is really amazing, and Whitebeard actually took the initiative to mention it. As expected of Buggy, even the strongest man in the world can't ignore him. Ha. Boss Buggy is definitely the strongest. Lead us to glory. The pirates who came out of Impel Down were praising Buggy crazily in the chat room. Boa Hancock. What a disgusting pirate. The noisy look is really unbearable to look at. Shiki the Golden Lion. Didn't you say that a bunch of unqualified guys were kicked out? Why can we still see this group of flies? Redfield. Pirates from the 4th floor of Impel Down. They are not weak, and it is expected that they are still in the chat room. Red-haired Shanks. Ahaha. Buggy also has his own crew, right? Buggy. Stupid Shanks. I'm not like you, who only found such a small number of crew members. Marshal Sengoku's mouth twitched, his eyelids trembled slightly, looking at Buggy's incredible speech. What do you mean there are only so few crew members? Can the crew of the Red Hair Pirates be compared with the group of weaklings you recruited who were arrested after doing evil on the sea? Each of the cotters on Shanks' ship has at least the combat effectiveness of a rear admiral. Sengoku's eyes penetrated the glass and looked at the 4 emperors on the sky, his eyes leisurely. I didn't expect that these 2 people had met before the battle at the top. Why did Shanks go to find Whitebeard? Gilala, time is just a blink of an eye for me. There are quite a few legendary figures. Roger, Garp, Sengoku, Shiki, Nightmare. When he said the last title, Whitebeard's eyes trembled a little. Even the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching. It must be said that among all the legendary characters, Nightmare left the most profound impression on him. So safe! Exclamation. No matter what, he won't use his real body. Even pretending to be seriously injured will only make the opponent send 2 more clones. Good to harvest. Such a person is extremely cautious. When Whitebeard was fighting that evil guy, he even thought it was a nightmare. Even with the destructive power of the tremor fruit, he could not touch the people in the shadow space, so he could only tear 2 sea kings apart to vent his anger. Is it Kurumi? That's not a simple guy. Shanks laughed loudly, with no hatred in his eyes. Although Shanks lost an arm because of Kurumi, he did not feel any regret. 10 years ago, he met a powerful pirate in the East China Sea and accidentally destroyed an island, forcing the civilians to suffer a disaster. He still remembered that at that time, there was a little girl with white hair who survived the battle. It was not because of his special protection, but because the girl in the blood-red dress suddenly appeared on the battlefield. 2 flintlock rifles, one long and one short, were aimed at Shanks and another powerful pirate, protecting the only survivor on the island. It was Quang Sen's attack that accidentally cut off one of his arms, making him a one-armed man. However, Shanks did not hold any grudges. He even wanted to thank Kurumi for saving the life. By the way, the pirate who fought with him at that time seemed to be somewhat similar to Whitebeard if you look closely. Shanks' eyes gleamed. But he didn't mention this. The purpose of his coming here today was not to ask Whitebeard about his blood relationship. I came here specifically for one purpose. Chapter 51. In the chat room, red-haired Shanks, is this how I lost my arm in the parallel world? Mihawk, idiot. Do you think you in the parallel world are the same as you, a 4 emperor who had his arm bitten off by a small shrimp? And you're still shouting that you bet this arm on the new era? Red-haired Shanks, haha, there's nothing I can do about it. Monkey D. Luffy, Shanks is the man who saved my life. He's not an idiot. Monkey D. Garp, my stupid grandson, come back and be a marine. Buddha Sengoku, forget it, Garp. I don't dare let your grandson be a marine. Navy, I'm afraid Akainu will kill him someday. Monkey D. Garp, hahaha, don't joke like that. Sengoku, Akainu Sakaski, the son of a criminal, is certainly not worthy of joining the Navy. Monkey D. Garp, Sakaski, he's my grandson, why shouldn't you let him join the Navy? Akainu Sakaski, really? Your grandson personally released all the vicious pirates imprisoned in Impel Down. Garp rarely stopped arguing. Anyway, letting so many pirates in Impel Down go caused unprecedented chaos. It seems that the culprit who has forced the Navy to start a new round of world conscription is all his grandson. So far, I have fought in countless battles, big and small, and have too many scars to count. But it's still here that I feel the pain. Red-haired Shanks pointed to his eyes, where there were 3 long scratches, which made Shanks look a little more ferocious. Even the injury caused by the pirate who cut off my arm was not as painful as here. Red-haired Shanks looked solemn, staring at Whitebeard, and spoke to the burly figure sitting there word by word. The scar was not caused by a legendary figure, nor by Mihawk, but your son, Marshal D. Teach. When he said this, red-haired Shanks did not show much hatred, but his expression became serious. Whitebeard frowned slightly, with a hint of surprise flashing across his face. Is it Teach? It's really surprising! Exclamation. Buggy, that monster who didn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. Humph, I told Shanks a long time ago not to underestimate him. Red-haired Shanks, hey, Buggy, you also didn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights and stared at that guy. It seems you are also a monster, right? Gall D. Roger, ahaha, the kid on Whitebeard's ship. He was able to hurt Shanks. It's really not easy. Marco, Teach, that traitor hiding your strength and backstabbing your companions on the ship is simply the worst. Marshal D. Teach, ha 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 ha. Captain Marco, I did this to fulfill my dream. Jaws, you are just a person who betrayed your companions. How can you talk about dreams? Rocks D. Jibek, ha 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 ha, Newgate. Can you also make a mistake? How does it feel to have an unfilial son? Whitebeard. Q ha ha ha. Teach is not my son, let alone an unfilial son. Rocks D. Jibek. Did you expel him from the Sun's group? Really straightforward. Newgate on the Whitebeard Pirates flagship. This time I came here to persuade you to give up. Whitebeard narrowed his eyes, burped, and put his wrist on the Naginata. Little devil on Roger's ship, are you teaching me how to do things? Red and black lightning burst out like thunder, instantly rendering the originally gloomy sky even more gloomy and terrifying. Two equally domineering wills confronted each other. Whitebeard, you should understand, right? The original navy was already terrifying enough, with 3 admirals on the roster and 2 admiral candidates ready to be deployed at any time. There were also 3 admirals of the older generation in the Navy 3 years ago, after the Navy established the special branch Fraxinus under the order of the 5 elders. It extended its tentacles to the New World Biag. To put it bluntly, the current Navy is at its peak unprecedentedly. A mere 4 emperors is far from enough to save people from them. Shanks leaned forward slightly, and his solemn words revealed his fear of the Navy. Whitebeard slowly let go of his Naginata and looked at the little ghost in front of him calmly, slightly dazed. Kid. Of course I know that the Navy is now the most powerful in the past 100 years. But my son has been arrested. He will be executed at the Navy headquarters next week. Do you want me to just sit here and watch my son being executed by the damn Navy through the video phone bug? Whitebeard roared angrily, his eyes were red, and he was breathing heavily. How could he not know the situation of the Navy this time when they go to rescue Ace? The Whitebeard pirates may face the crisis of extinction, and he is naturally aware of this. But so what? For Whitebeard, family is the most important thing! If he can't even protect his own son, what kind of a 4 emperors is he, or what kind of the strongest man in the world? Shanks was silent. If his daughter was captured and executed at the Marine headquarters, he would probably have the same reaction as Whitebeard, right? Don't say things like we're no match! What rationality! My daughter is about to die. How can you expect me to be rational? Shanks took a deep breath, picked up the wine jug, and walked alone on the deck, leaving Whitebeard's ship without any intention of fighting with him. There is no other way. I have tried to persuade Whitebeard, but he won't listen. There is nothing I can do. He should try his best to save the captains of the Whitebeard pirates. In the chat room, Gall D. Roger, did Shanks come to the Newgate ship just to make him give up saving Ace? I always feel like he failed. Buggy, really, who does he think he is? The 5 elders? He worries so much all the time, sniffing his nose with disdain. Whitebeard, Kiralala, red-nosed brat. Your words really hit the nail on the head. There are so many people on the sea, and the red-haired brat is really meddling in other people's business. Red-haired Shanks' bitter smile. No, do you really have to slander me like this? Don't I still want to stop Whitebeard from going to the Navy headquarters to get killed? Vice Admiral Tsuru, don't worry about other people's business. Just take care of yourself. Red hair. Kizaru Borsellino. Vice Admiral Tsuru is domineering. Jesus boo, hey, old woman, you are really exaggerating. Mama Tosadian? What? Want to fight? Jesus boo, humph, you are just a candidate for Admiral, don't be so arrogant. Our red hair pirates are not to be bullied by others. Monkey D. Garp, puhahaha, let me see what's going on. Buddha's warring states, rampant pirates. Are you ready for your defeat? When they saw Vice Admiral Tsuru being confronted, the Navy Admiral and the Navy hero couldn't sit still. Who do you think you are? A cotter of the 4 emperors dares to confront the Navy Chief of Staff. To read the exciting novels, go to Falu Novel Network. Rocks D. Jibek, the little girl with blue hair back then? Ha ha ha, you have become an old woman in the blink of an eye. Vice Admiral Tsuru, yes, time is unforgiving. The great pirate who was once glorious and created an era has now become a dead man, right? Golden Lion Shiki, is that figure on the sky screen Ling Ling? Charlotte Lingling, Well, finally there is a scene of me. My dear daughter Shiki, please appreciate my domineering attitude. The short-haired woman wearing glasses is sorting out the fan mail she received these days. Let me see. It's really a terrible letter. Teacher Hanjo, who had short white hair and was wearing pink pajamas, looked at the pile of letters and randomly picked out two to read. Since I announced last time that I was a woman, I have been bothered by my younger sister's spoiled behavior and have received more strange letters. Mr. Hanjo, as a senior Lolita lover, I go to school every day to look at the flat and pure curves of little girls. I like your work very much. Please marry me, the cute pink-loving sister you mentioned. Mr. Hanjo, I have been following you for so many years. In fact, I have a serious fetish for mature women. Every morning after helping old ladies, I kiss the back of their hands to express my gratitude. As a cartoonist who has been updating for 30 years, please allow me to help you get out of being single. Hanjo Nia sighed. She felt that announcing her female identity and saying that she had a cute sister who liked pink would attract a lot of perverts. Second Asia. The obese woman with long pink curly hair, thick lipstick and light purple eyeshadow, a pirate hat and a pink loose dress opened the curtain and looked at the nun in front of her in a friendly manner. It's Lingling. Hanjo Nia put the fan letter back in its place, smiled, and hugged the old lady in the pink nightgown. Yeah, what would you like to eat today? Charlotte Lingling glanced at the messy room and raised the book nonchalantly, her eyes full of light, as if she was looking at some supreme god. Lingling, just make some udon noodles. Hanjo Nia said naturally that she just liked this kind of thing, and she was not fond of sweets like Linlin. Charlotte Katakuri, who is this white-haired woman? I always feel like my mother is looking at her like a relative. White beard. There is a number in the name, so she should be an elf, right? After so many pictures were played on the sky screen, the top strong men on the sea also understood how special the existence called elves is. Each elf has an angel that belongs to them, similar to the power of a devil fruit, but stronger than an ordinary devil fruit. Among all the elves known so far, the weakest has the strength comparable to the top 7 warlords of the sea. Charlotte Linlin, mama, the look you give her is just like looking at a nun. Buddha's warring states, the white-haired woman at least more than 30 years old. She looks exactly like a girl. Vegapunk, come to think of it, Kurumi is also famous in the sea for killing the celestial dragon more than 20 years ago. But she looks exactly like a 15 or 16-year-old girl. Is the physique of the elves so magical? Caesar Clown, oh, if we can study the bloodline factors of the elves, can we create more powerful cyborgs? Vegapunk, don't always jump around like crazy on the edge of the restricted area. Caesar. Maca's Mess Saint, I almost forgot that there is an unstable factor, Flamingo. Leave Caesar to us. Don Quixote Flamingo, Fufufu, it's really scary. The 5 elders actually forced the 7 warlords to hand over their subordinates. Ism Baron V Nasashauro Saint, Flamingo, you'd better obey our orders. Caesar Clown, oh, they are just 5 old men. Flamingo is not afraid. Flamingo snorted, his pink coat stained with someone's saliva. His face was a little gloomy. Those 5 old men who only know how to point fingers are really annoying. Whoosh, on the table was a bowl of freshly cooked udon noodles. The soup was clear and a half I am loud, a half. The dish has a light aroma of soy sauce, with a few chopped green onions, a few thin slices of ham, and a few golden tempura pieces floating on it. It is colorful and fragrant. Hanjo Nia blew away the heat from the udon noodles, put his hands together, and said loudly with a pious look, I'm starting. After Aya took a deep breath, her eyes were filled with emotion as she relaxed. She picked up a piece of udon noodles with a chopstick, blew on it gently, and then put it into her mouth. The chewiness of the noodles and the deliciousness of the soup blended in her mouth. She closed her eyes and savored the satisfaction brought by every bite of food. Charlotte Lingling looked at the nun in front of her lovingly and watched this scene quietly. Say goodbye to Atomic. Chapter 52. Well, yeah, I still have the same appetite as before. Charlotte Lingling picked up the cake on the table and mixed it with strawberry and kiwi slices, then put it into her mouth in big mouthfuls, letting the sour and sweet taste dance in her mouth. Benjonia put her legs on the table, folded her hands together, and rested her head on them. Hey, not everyone can eat as much as you, Lingling. Hanjonia touched his satisfied stomach, picked up the sake on the table, and took 2 sips of it. By the way, will the Pirate King's son be publicly executed at the Marine headquarters next week? Hanjonia seemed to have just remembered about the execution. There is no way. I am running out of time recently because I have to finish the manuscript. Yes, that kid named Ace is the bait that the Navy is using to get rid of one of the 4 emperors. Charlotte Lingling squinted her eyes, and chocolate sauce stained her purple lips, which looked very attractive to rocks. I am Lao a half, I am Lao a half, I am Lao a half light. Oh, is that so? Hanjonia pulled out a hand from behind his back, and a shadow of a book appeared out of thin air, with a cross pattern on it. Sauga, let me see who this kid named Ace is. Oh, the son of Port Pizd, Luju and Pirate King Roger. Is he the grandson adopted by the Navy hero Monkey D. Garp himself at the request of the Pirate King, or is he the son recognized by Whitebeard? There are so many relationships involved. Hanjonia was half lying on the rattan chair, legs lifted up in pleasure, with an interested smile on his face. Spider-Man, what? Grandson of Vice Admiral Garp. Smoker, is there such a relationship? Akenu Sakaski, how can you rest? You are obviously a veteran. Why would you make such a low-level mistake and actually obey the Pirate King's instructions? Fujitora smiled. Is this the justice of the Navy? In order to save the son of the Pirate King, they even broke up countless families and forced the world government to kill innocent pregnant women. After knowing that Garp was because of the Pirate King's instructions, Fujitora easily thought of an action of the world government at that time. That action implicated many innocent pregnant women, broke up countless families, and caused the husband to lose his wife and children, and could only live in the world in pain. Such things once touched Fujitora. At that time, he was still traveling in the New World, but later through the little clues he investigated, he found out that the action of the world government was to find out the evil bloodline of the Pirate King remaining on the island. It was because of that action that Yixiao recognized the darkness of this world. The world government is not justice. But what disappointed Yixiao was that even in the Navy, where everyone follows their own justice, the Navy hero Garp actually took the initiative to protect the Pirate King's offspring. It's really disappointing. If he didn't protect it, the world government would have found the Pirate King's offspring earlier, so there wouldn't be so many casualties. Don't say that Ace is innocent. If you want to blame someone, blame Ace's father, who is the Pirate King. He knew that he was dying, but he still married a wife at that time, causing the girl to hide from place to place to protect his offspring, and finally forced to die. Blackbeard Teach, thief, who do you think you are? You are just a fool with a little strength. If you insinuate that Ace deserves death here, be careful that Whitebeard and Garp will come after you. Fujitora smiled. Even if the 4 emperors and the Navy heroes come after me, I will not be afraid at all. If you can't even say such words, is there justice in the Navy? Doberman, Vice Admiral Garp is wrong. The heir of the Pirate King, why do you, a Navy officer, want to protect him? Even Vice Admiral Mole, who has a relatively mild personality, has a little more resentment towards Garp at this time. It's not your blood. Why do you have to protect it? Are the heirs of the Pirate King more noble than those pregnant women and children killed by the world government? Akenu Sakaski, huh, what a weak justice. You actually go along with the pirates. Buddha Sengoku, Sakaski, say less. Akenu Sakaski, why should I say less? I think the people I killed over the years were necessary sacrifices. I didn't kill them on purpose because of the pirates' instructions. Akenu Sakaski, if the heir of the Pirate King is allowed to grow up, Marshal Sengoku, you should know what changes will happen. Sengoku was silent. If Ace can grow up, Will really, Jabba, Barrett, and other old crew members of the Pirate King choose to go out to sea again to follow Ace? Moreover, with the title of the Pirate King, there are definitely many pirates on the sea who will have admiration for him. Don't doubt it. Roger was able to create the great pirate era with just one sentence before he died, so how could he not have any fans? Whether it is a pirate who covets Raffles' treasure or a pirate who goes out to sea because of his admiration for the freedom described by Roger, they will all target Ace, the descendant of the Pirate King. The worst thing is, what if Roger left some information and clues about the final island for Ace? This would be the most fatal. Charlotte Linlin, well, it's really interesting. Are there disagreements within the Navy? Kaido, hahaha. A disunited Navy is really interesting. Hiccup tilde I want to go to the headquarters of the Navy and make a big fuss. Kizaru Borsellino, Kuwa Ikai, it's so scary. Sakaski is actually getting angry with Marshal Sengoku. Black Arm Zephyr, shut up. Borsellino, when I saw your light tone, I got so angry. Kizaru Borsellino, I'm really sorry tilde teacher Zephyr. Kizaru felt very aggrieved and spread his hands innocently. No, why can't he speak? Because the big melon that Honjo Nia broke out on the sky curtain exposed the truth that only a few people knew to everyone in the pirate world. The ability to know everything is really convenient. Ria Charlotte Lingling looked at the Bible with church characteristics and couldn't help showing envy. It is convenient, but it has no combat capability. I still have to rely on you, Lingling, to protect me. Honjo Nia joked casually, his eyes fixed on the direction of the book, as if he was searching for something. Well. Don't worry. I will never sit idly by and watch you being captured by that evil guy Nightmare like I did half a year ago. Charlotte Lingling patted her chest to assure him. Under her pink dress, a piece of fat was trembling. The fierce light in his eyes revealed the determination of the C4 Emperors. It's okay. Anyway, Kurumi and Rokyuko's abilities are hard to guard against, so there's no need to keep an eye on them. Honjo Nia noticed that Lingling was suddenly excited and hurriedly tried to stop her. To read the exciting novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. No way. Quang Sen simply sent her clones to die. Her real body is nowhere to be seen! Unless one has the ability of the Seal Master similar to that of Xingang Liuku, and directly opens the shadow space to pull Quang Sen out of it. No matter how strong the attack is, it will not be able to hit Quang Sen's body in another different space. Don't worry, Nia. Even if it's that wicked girl Tokisaki Kurumi, I have a way to deal with her. Charlotte Lingling smiled grimly and took out a ball of golden stone from her pink dress. Come out, chaos. As the cracks in space changed, a strange object with golden light supported Charlotte Lingling's body, grew two small crimson eyes, and a set of crocodile-like teeth. Mommy, the golden light showed its closeness to Charlotte Lingling and seemed to be very clingy. Lingling, could this be? Honjo Nia looked at the golden light in shock and almost fell off the chair. As a nun who grew up with Charlotte Lingling, she and Lingling have been dependent on each other since childhood and can be said to have spent most of their lives together. Although for her, it may be just a small part of her life journey. After all, a certain elf who is hailed as a god has lived for thousands of years. Well, that's right, Nia. This is the homies I specially created to target Tokisaki Kurumi's hiding. Charlotte Lingling smiled like an innocent girl, pointing proudly at the special life glowing with golden light. Homies named Chaos has the power to control space. Even if a nightmare can hide like a mouse, I can pull her out. I won't let anyone take you away anymore. Charlotte Lingling, well, I in the parallel world have actually achieved this. The nun who has been dependent on each other since childhood? It really makes people want to explore the history of the parallel world. Kaido of Beasts, homies with spatial attributes. You are really amazing to be able to create homies with this attribute. Old woman. Charlotte Lingling, well, the homies named Chaos, I can't create it now. The power of space can consume a lot of life. Rox D. Jibek, it's just an ordinary homies, I don't care about that. Rox D. Jibek, What really makes me curious is Lingling in the parallel world and her description of Honjonia. Rocks D. Jibuk, what exactly is the power of omniscience? Vegapunk, for this kind of thing, I have a guess. I am loud a half I am loud a Vegapunk. That book seems to have the ability to retrieve information. Vegapunk, before, a girl named Honjonia just glanced at the contents of the book and said all the strong people related to Ace. Kizaru Borsellino, Wu tilde omniscient? That's really scary. Everyone has things they don't want others to know, right? Kizaru Borsellino, whoever has mastered that book, wouldn't he know that my neighbor's kid wet the bed at the age of 19? Kaido, hiccup tilde as expected of the world's strongest brain, he can even guess such things Kaido, but the ability to retrieve information alone is of no help in battle, isn't it? Vegapunk, not sure however, judging from what Nia said to Charlotte Linlin about needing protection, her fighting ability should not be strong. The nun with short white hair glanced at Lingling. Tears of emotion welled up in her eyes. In order to protect her, Lingling even created a space-related homies. You are truly my best friend! Honjonia glanced at the information and sketches on the notice book, his eyes fixed, and cold sweat flowed down his forehead. Just now, she was trying to use her omniscient and omnipotent words to see the Navy's deployment for this war. The result is that you don't know until you see it. To deal with a mere whitebeard. The Navy's lineup was so exaggerated that it was terrifying! Navy Marshal Sengoku is personally guarding the execution platform. Although he won't take action easily, just standing there is already a threat! The three veteran admirals, Akenu, Aokiji, and Kizaru, are the main force against Whitebeard this time. Black Arm Zaffa was arranged to be with Garp, and go with him to impel down to guard, and not participate in this battle. At the top, the commander from Flaxenus, Gakawa Katori, and several outstanding crew members of the two monarchs are on standby in the aerial battleship, guarding against the arrival of the other four emperors! This time, even all the 7 warlords of the sea were summoned! Since Crocodile was defeated and imprisoned and impelled down, and Gecko Moria was defeated and died in the aftermath of the Yamai sisters' fight, Jin was also imprisoned and impelled down. The current selection of the 7 warlords of the sea is enough to make your scalp numb. Bartholomew Bear, who was transformed and lost consciousness. Don Quixote da Flamingo, who has the identity of a celestial dragon. The world's most beautiful woman. Boa Hancock, the world's greatest swordsman. Hawkeye Mihawk, and the traitor of the Whitebeard pirates, Blackbeard. Teach the current ruler of the Germa kingdom, Vince Mixora, who has an elf as a subordinate and uses clones as combat power. The last person is from the kingdom of Lucilu, where only swordsmen are qualified to assume the throne, the great general who protects the country. But his imperial weapon, Thunder God's Wrath Admiral, possesses the power to manipulate thunder and is the man who once fought against red-haired Shanks. Chapter 53. The picture on the sky screen dimmed again, and his silver-white hourglass was dripping with sand at a speed visible to the naked eye. Yellow Monkey Borsellino, how terrible! The 7 warlords of the sea Vice Admiral Tsuru, the members of the Shichibukai in the parallel world, are really too powerful. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, Vince Moxora, and General Bud. They are all people I am not familiar with. Red-haired Shanks, the power to manipulate thunder? Have I ever fought against such a person? Why don't I have any impression of him? Then Beckman, stupid Shanks. I said it's a parallel world. There must be a lot of things that are different from our world. Vegapunk, is it an imperial weapon? Is it a feature of that parallel world? Vegapunk, what a wonderful parallel world. Not only does it have the power of elves, but it also has imperial weapon users similar to devil fruits. Kaido, the king of beasts, whether it's an imperial weapon or a devil fruit, for me, they are all things that can be solved with one blow. Rocks D. Jibuk, how dare you say that? Kaido, have I been so arrogant all these years since I left? Izo, if he is really that powerful, he would not dare to fight Lord Odin head-on. Kaido, you despicable villain. Kaido of beasts, Odin? He is a good opponent, but unfortunately he is a fool. Whitebeard, Gilala, you really dare to say that, Kaido? Kaido of beasts, what? Newgate, do you want to fight? Whitebeard, Q ha ha ha. I don't have the 1-5-3 strategy. Come and be my son, Kaido. Kaido of beasts, Kaido of the beasts, funny you. Whitebeard, you old bastard. In the flower room, the 5 elders bowed on the ground, kissing the ground affectionately, expressing their submission in front of the slender black shadow. Lord Yamu, regarding the sky curtain, is it something that the D-clan did to target us? The 5 elders with a mustache slowly spoke, carefully asking about the sky curtain. Not really. Sitting on the empty throne, Yamu's eyes indifferently glanced at the 5 elders below, without the slightest emotion. Lord Yamu, Doctor. Vegapunk has already come up with some results regarding the Imperial tools. The bald, bespectacled, sword-wielding 5 elders said, with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Tell me about it. Yamu said casually, looking at the bald 5 elders with a curious look in his eyes. Even an immortal who has lived for 800 years has long been curious about the Imperial tools and spirits in the parallel world. According to Vegapunk's research, the so-called Imperial weapons are weapons made from the remains of special creatures. A biological structure similar to that of a sea king, but with even more powerful strength. The soul of all things severed that Borsellino obtained should be made from the remains of special creatures. The slender black shadow sitting on the empty throne was silent for a moment, and a fascinating look bloomed in those circle eyes, as if he had thought of something. There is no need to study the Imperial equipment for the time being. First, do everything you can to get the reward from the sky curtain. Yes, Lord Yamu, ×5. The 5 elders bowed their heads respectfully, showing respect to the person on the empty throne, with a hint of fanaticism in their eyes. What will the new sky curtain bring to this world? The rewards issued by the sky curtain affect the balance, which is just a small matter. Anyway, it does not threaten the rule of the world government. What the 5 elders really care about is whether the sky curtain has the power to break the ceiling. In this sea, it depends on the strength in your hands. Ding, emotional energy is fully charged and the sky system is being restarted. The sand in the hourglass sank completely to the lower part in less than an hour. Crocodile, is it so fast this time? It used to take a week to open. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, I can't wait any longer. The rewards of the sky are really exciting. Black Arm Zephyr, humph, I actually let that frivolous guy Borsellino draw the rewards of the sky twice in a row. This really makes me unhappy. Kizaru Borsellino, Teacher Zephyr, are you jealous Tilda Chatten Cake? When can I experience the rewards of the sky? Akiji Kyuzan, ah la la, I don't know if the rewards of the sky are Akinu Sakaski, humph, shortcuts are not that easy. Among the current rewards of the sky curtain, none of them can directly increase combat power. Mamadasagi Diun, speaking of which, there is indeed nothing that can quickly increase combat power. I wonder if there are weapons such as swords in the Imperial equipment. Jorkalmea, blades? Speaking of which, the swordsmen in the parallel world don't seem to have changed. Among all the people who have appeared so far, none of them can make me want to fight. For Hawkeye, there are 2 things he loves most in his life: red wine and fencing. In order to find someone who is qualified to challenge the world's greatest swordsman, he even took him in as an apprentice. Fujitora smiled. Swordsman? Come to think of it, I'm a swordsman too. I wonder how big the gap is between me and the world's #1 swordsman. Jorkalmea, oh? Interesting. I hope you can give me some surprises. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufu, heavy swordsmanship with combined abilities. It's really intimidating. Jorkalmea, not a pure swordsman? But with the ability of the fruit. Although I'm not qualified to challenge the throne of the world's #1 swordsman, I'm qualified if it's just fencing. Rocks D. Gibber, a fight. That's really interesting. Come to think of it, the world's #1 swordsman in my era seemed to be Reed, right? Redfield, I don't know. Maybe it was that idiot Shiki. Golden Lion Shiki, ha, my swordsmanship is pretty good. If I hadn't eaten the float fruit. I could have competed for the title of the world's #1 swordsman. On the sea, a swordsman who has eaten a devil fruit is not a pure swordsman by default and loses the qualification to compete for the world's #1 swordsman. Gall D. Roger, hey, don't ignore me. My swordsmanship is obviously not weak either. Rox D. Jebek, ha, Roger, you'd better give up. You are still best at the entanglement of Conqueror's Haki. On the sky screen, a new picture finally jumped ding. The top battle chapter is about to begin. Random questions are being generated to read exciting novels. Go to Felu Novel Network. Random question generation completed. I would like to ask, in the upcoming battle for the top, who will stand in the C position and bring major changes to the world? Admiral of the Navy, Sengoku be the strongest man in the world. Whitebeard C the most evil elf in history. Tokisaki Kurumi D the first elf. Takamiya Mio E the ruler of the empty throne. Saint Nara name. The 5 elders in power looked gloomy when they saw the last option and stared at the sky with a solemn gaze. The 5 elders with bald heads and glasses hit the ground fiercely with the back of their knives. With a loud bang, the ground instantly cracked like a spider web. How can we stop? Lord Yimu, who has been hiding for so many years, was exposed because of this broken sky curtain. Saint Satan was leaning on a cane, with a shadow on his face, making it impossible to see the expression on his old face. Lord Yimai didn't expect it to be exposed so soon. The blonde 5 elders lifted his hair, took out a top-quality cigar, lit it and started smoking, puffing out white smoke. It's really unexpected. This kind of thing has begun to get out of our control. In the chat room, King Hamburg, unbelievable. The empty throne, which is known for its absolute justice, actually has such a thing as a ruler. King Tacos, what on earth is the world government hiding from us? Nefertari Cobra, Sauka. The damn world government has been hiding even this kind of thing. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, Nara name saint. It sounds like the surname of one of the 20 kings who founded the world government 800 years ago. For a time, kings from all over the world were confused and angry about the world government's concealment. The empty throne with 20 swords crossed was a throne that 20 kings had ruled 800 years ago that no one could sit on. It represented the insistence on mutual equality among the kings. I am love half I am Laua, and never have a dictatorial heart. But now, the world government seems to have betrayed this oath. Rox D. Jibek, wow, it's really scary. The mastermind behind the world government sounds like a scary person. Gall D. Roger, ha. It's just a name, what's so scary about it? Monkey D. Garp, pew ha, Roger is right, I'm about to retire anyway, it has nothing to do with me. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fufu. The Pirate King doesn't seem to be surprised by the mastermind behind the world government. It's really curious. What is recorded on the final island? Gall D. Roger, ha. That kind of thing, you can go and see it yourself and you will know. Pluto really, for things like adventure, it's better to experience it in person. Our era has passed. Come on, little ghosts. Port Gazdi. Ace, the era belonging to Daddy has just begun. Port Gazdi. Ace, just wait and see. I will definitely win the position of Pirate King for Daddy. Buddha Sengoku, hee, just a pirate. Don't be too proud. You are already the remnants of the old era, so don't even talk about the position of Pirate King. Akenu Sakaski, the brat on Whitebeard's ship is so arrogant that it's hard to like him. Kizaru Borsellino, Kawene Tilda the strongest man in the world is going to compete for the position of Pirate King? That's really scary. Monkey D. Garp, ha, what's wrong with Whitebeard? He's just an old guy. Borsellino, go ahead, crush the 4 emperors, and I'll let Sengoku give you a raise. Aokiji Kyuzen, lat mister. Garp is really humorous. Kizaru Borsellino pouting. Kawawa tilde let's leave the task of fighting the 4 emperors to Sakazuki. I can't bear it tilde Akenu Sakazuki. Huh, you actually retreated, not like a navy fighting bravely on the front line at all. Kizaru Borsellino rolling his eyes. Oh, yes, I'm really sorry that I'm not fighting the 4 emperors in the New World. Monkey D. Luffy, Whitebeard. Is he the daddy that Ace recognized? Port is D. Whitebeard, Luffy. Choose 0.1 daddy later. You will definitely get the sky reward. Monkey D. Luffy stars in his eyes. Really? Ace, brothers don't lie to brothers. Port is D. Ace, the C position in the top battle will definitely be daddy's. Just watch daddy defeat the 3 admirals. Brother D. Roger, ahaha. Although Newgate is very strong, the lineup of the Navy headquarters is not weak at all. Whitebeard, Gilala. The me in the parallel world will most likely have a luxurious funeral, right? Marco, don't say such depressing words. Dad. Jaws, although the strength of the Navy headquarters is indeed very strong, our Whitebeard pirates are not weak either. Redfield, Newgate, your sons are quite confident? Whitebeard, Gilala, of course, my son, of course I trust me. Redfield, hee, although I don't want to admit it, the number of high-end combat forces in the Navy of the parallel world is probably more than the 4 Emperor's pirates in our world. That's right. The number of high-end combat forces is not lacking in the Navy of the parallel world. Tobiachi Origami, Mamatogi Teian, and Chat and Kaji definitely have the combat power of the candidate for admiral. Even facing the 4 emperors, they can entangle for several hours. And the 3 admirals, whether in a group fight or a single fight, can take Whitebeard away at some cost. As long as the 3 generals can cooperate well and their abilities are compatible enough, taking away a mere 4 emperors will be a piece of cake. Chapter 54. Ding, the question answering system is open. Please answer actively because the parallel world war in this inventory involves the existence of high dimensions. The probability of drawing SSR from the prize pool has increased to 0.1% in the chat room. Zephyr the Black Arm. Although I don't quite understand what SSR means, the meaning of Sky Curtain is probably that the probability of extracting good things has increased, right? Kizaru Borsellino. The seraph I extracted last time was quite useful tilde I don't have to go out on the missions myself recently tilde Virgo, the smaller version of Kizaru with brown skin and white hair who came to support us last time. Could it be a seraph? G5 Division Soldier No. 7. What? That light tone is exactly the same as Admiral Kizaru. G5 Soldier No. 6. It's impossible to tell that it's a clone modified by technology. It feels so realistic, just like a real person. G5 No. 3. Doctor. Vegapunk's technology is really advanced. He actually invented such a powerful seraph. The laser last time was completely like Admiral Kizaru. Vegapunk had sweat on his forehead. He always felt that he was outdone by his parallel world self. He hasn't even created the Shichibukai version of Seraph, and his parallel world self has even created the Admiral version of Seraph. Doesn't this mean that the parallel self is smarter than Vegapunk in the real world? Vegapunk couldn't sit still for a moment, picked up the machine at hand, and started a new round of research. Edison, 2 cups of coffee to wake you up. York, help me get green blood from laboratory No. 5. Today, Vegapunk re-enters the land of liver immortals. Don Quixote da Flamingo, it's really a headache. Which one should I choose? Califa, logically speaking, it should be Whitebeard, right? After all, no matter which of the 4 emperors, it must be shocking when he dies, right? It's not incomprehensible to be in the C position. Smoker, why can't it be Marshal Sengoku who upholds justice over the world? Smoker, if the 4 emperors can be kept in the Navy headquarters 20, it should be a great achievement for the Marshal, right? J. Galusha Satan Saint. Choose a Navy Marshal Sengoku. Topman Vachulai Saint. Choose B. Whitebeard Edward Newgate. Shepherd 10 Pit Saint. C. The most evil elf Tokisaki Kurumi. Makasmes Saint. D. The original elf Takamiya Mio. Ism Baron v Nasujiro say, Lord M. The 5 elders started to choose before the many powerful people finished their discussion. Why think so much? There are 5 of them anyway. Why bother thinking? Wouldn't it be better for each of them to choose one? Let's get the reward of the sky first. Rocks D. Jibek, these 5 old guys are so despicable. One option each, just take them all. So no matter which answer is, the 5 elders will have a share, right? Golden Lion Shiki, choose A. Navy Marshal Sengoku. Buddha Sengoku, D. Initial Elf Takamiya Mio. Akenu Sakaski, C. Tokisaki Kurumi. Kizaru Borsellino, I'll choose our beloved Marshal Sengoku tilde monkey D. Dragon, choose C. Nightmare Tokisaki Kurumi. The leader of the revolutionary army finally began to speak on the skylight. Kaido, the king of beasts, ahaha. Old captain, everyone else has started to choose. Why are you still shouting? Rocks D. Cybek, shut up Kaido. Didn't you choose either? You idiot. Charlotte Linlin, choose E. The ruler behind the world government, MMMMM. It sounds so classy. Charlotte Linlin, 2 idiots, hurry up and choose. If you choose later, there will be no reward even if you choose correctly. Monkey D. Luffy, then I'll choose C. Quang-san is obviously a good person. Nami, idiot Luffy. How can you regard the most evil elf in history as a good person? If your eyes are not good, go see a doctor. Monkey D. Luffy, but she saved us from the ice general. Nami, isn't that for the information in Robin's mind to decipher the historical text? Monkey D. Luffy, it seems so too. Roronoa Zoro, come to think of it, among the members of the 7 warlords of the sea, it seems that one is your mother, she choosy. Zoro said uncertainly. The surname Vinsmoke is not common on the sea. Vinsmoke Sanji, green algae head. What's wrong with your uncertain tone? Are you not only a person with poor direction, but also an idiot who can't even remember your name? Roronoa Zoro, Baka. She choosy, you are the one with poor direction. I just can't remember the route occasionally. Vinsmoke Sanji, isn't that still a person with poor direction? Red-haired Shanks, choose ye. Although it's disappointing that I'm not in the options, you still have to make a choice. Kaido, the king of beasts, ahaha. I choose B. How can that old bastard Whitebeard, as the protagonist of the funeral, not stand in the C position? Almost everyone acquiesced to Whitebeard's death, whether it was the 4 emperors, the admirals, or the 5 elders. After all, that was the headquarters of the navy. A single 4 emperor who broke into the headquarters of the navy would be courting death. Kaido doesn't count. Back then, Golden Lion broke into the headquarters of the navy alone, but what happened? He was defeated by Sengoku and Garp and imprisoned in Impel Down. Among the top forces in this ocean, it is not certain which one is the strongest. But if we talk about the top 10, the navy must have a place. Rocks D. Jibuk, hiss, how cunning. Then I'll choose that guy Newgate. Rocks didn't have much brains, he just felt that among the 5 options, Newgate was his old crew member. Who should he choose if not his own? Vice Admiral Tsuru, choose D, the initial elf, Takamiya Mio. Lieutenant General Tsuru originally planned to choose Tokisaki Kurumi. After all, her intuition told her that since the answers in the previous few times were all elves, this time it would most likely be an elf. Anyway, it's either C or D. Ding, the answering time is about to end. 10-1. The final answer is announced. In this battle at the top, there is only one C position, and that is Nightmare Tokisaki Kurumi! Congratulations to Monkey D, Dragon, Akenu Sakaski, and Shepherd 10 Pit Saint for answering the right answer this time. 3 familiar silver turntables appeared in the center of the sky again. To read the exciting novels, go to Fellow Novel Network. Rocks D. Jibuk, humph, I'm not the C position in this battle. It's really embarrassing. Newgate, don't say you came out of my ship in the future. Whitebeard, I'm really sorry that I didn't debut as the center. Black Arm Zephyr, No matter what, as long as it's not that frivolous guy Borsellino who guessed it right. Yellow monkey Borsellino, woo tilde 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 teacher Zephyr, you are not targeting me like this, are you? Black-armed Zephyr. Just seeing the barrage you sent out makes me feel physically uncomfortable, not to mention hearing your voice. Kizaru Borsellino, I feel like Zephyr has become more and more irritable after returning to his peak tilde black arm Zephyr. If he's not a little irritable, how can he intimidate those pirates? Rox D. Jebek, Zephyr, you make a lot of sense. Shiki the Golden Lion, hee hee, why do the Navy always win? It's so unfair. Kaido the Beast, Shiki, you baby, stop yelling. At least you won once, but I haven't even won once. Ding, Monkey D. Dragon is being drawn ding. Congratulations to Dragon for winning a design of the aerial battleship Fraxinus. Kaido, Tisk, you actually secretly draw the lottery yourself. That's too much. Gall D. Roger, Dragon? I think he's Garp's son Monkey D. Garp, Roger, have you been locked up in the underworld for too long and your brain has gone bad? Ha 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 ha. You can't even be sure that Dragon is my son. It seems that you have become demented by death. Gall D. Roger, damn Garp. You are the one who has become demented. The world government did not pay attention to Garp and Roger's daily quarrels to cultivate their relationship, but instead focused on the rewards that Dragon drew. Ism Baron V. Nasujiro, the design of the air battleship? Letting the Revolutionary Army draw this kind of thing will really cause trouble for us. Macasmas, an air battleship that can be invisible and can fire. It's really a big problem for us. Topman Vachulai Saint, humph. This time we also have a chance to draw rewards. Let's go. Pichu. Shepherd 10 Pichu Saint speechless. Start drawing. The silver-white turntable created sparks and spun madly to produce colorful black ding. Congratulations to Shepherd 10 Pit Saint for drawing the Divine Power Spiritual Suit 8th from Yamayaku PS. Don't underestimate this straight check-it. It actually has excellent defensive power tilde hee hee. You're welcome. Let me help you put it on. Between power. Before the blonde 5 elders could react, the crimson suit on his body disappeared instantly, and even the dark maroon pants seemed to be erased by an eraser, disappearing completely. Instead, it was replaced by a blue-purple straitjacket, and under the super short leather pants, dense leg hair could be seen everywhere. A purple circle similar to a dog collar was wrapped around the neck, with a silver-white lock on it, which was connected to the keyhole pattern on the lower abdomen. The strong muscles did not deform the clothes on his body too much, but instead looked very fit. The bald 5 elders with glasses took a look and saw such an eye-catching thing appearing between power. He subconsciously used the first generation of kaitsu to chop at the blonde 5 elders. Then, a sound of metal collision was heard. Although the first generation of kaitsu didn't hit the blue-purple restraint suit that looked full of texture, it still made a sound when it hit the brown skin of the blonde 5 elders. The bald 5 elders with glasses looked surprised. Although they didn't use the power of the devil fruit just now, they were not weak. It was so easy to block the slash of a great swordsman. Is this the effect of the magical clothes? Why did it suddenly become like this? I don't know. It seems that 897 is the function of the sky reward. The reward from the sky curtain is just such an eye-catching tights. To be honest, if Lord Yim saw this thing, he would probably chop it off, right? Shepherd 10 Pit Saint's face turned black. He took out a mirror and glanced at his current appearance. He couldn't help but have a group of black lines in his pupils. Really, how shameful. Why would the reward from the sky curtain be such a shameful one? As one of the 5 elders who represents the power of the world government, when has Shepherd 10 Pit Saint ever suffered such an injustice? If he hadn't been mentally strong enough, he would have wanted to be a Mo. Wearing a maid-like outfit on a middle-aged man like him was simply too embarrassing. Shepherd 10 Pit Saint didn't hesitate at all and chose to take off the shameful-looking clothes. However, just when the blonde 5 elders wanted to pull the clothes off, the Divine Power Spirit Suit 8th showed a side that was completely inconsistent with a sexy and fragile appearance. Not only was it not pulled off, but it became tighter and tighter, making the blonde 5 elders look very embarrassed and eye-catching. The other 4-5 elders said they couldn't stand it and directly chose to push the blonde 5 elders out of power. Vegapunk, is it the 8th order of the divine power? It sounds pretty good. Can you lend it to me to study? Ism Baron V. Nessa Shirose, sure. Study it casually, Vegapunk. The 5 elder sword stars said that such an eye-catching thing cannot be seen by only me. Akenu Sakaski. It looks like you all got some good things. Sakaski was almost drooling over the rewards of the 2 people in front of him. One was the design of an aerial battleship, and Sakaski was impressed by it. The commander of Flaxinus used this thing to blast Kuzan, and activated the stealth device in time to avoid Kuzan's sight. The power of that shot even destroyed half of the island. The power is terrifying. If the Navy can have this thing, it can be invisible and can fire, and it can also provide a hiding place for hundreds of Navy officers. Wouldn't that be a dimensionality reduction blow to the pirates? As for the 8th order of the divine power, although Sakaski didn't know what this thing was, he knew it was not simple from the name. Since it had the word God in it, it must be very complicated, right? Sakaski, my turn. Draw a card. Ding, congratulations to Sakaski, you got say goodbye to Atomic. Chapter 55. Ding, congratulations to Sakaski for obtaining the AA Angel Frozen Puppet. A colorful firework appeared on the sky, and the exploding colorful special effects filled the entire screen. Vegapunk, Angel. An angel belonging to the elves? Rox D. Jybek, the little devil of the Navy, is really lucky. Kaido of the Beasts, Tusk. Even if Red Dog gets the angel, he won't be my opponent. I will send him to see Tainai with one shot of the 3 worlds. Charlotte Linlin, Mama, the power of the Navy has become stronger again. Redfield, is it a complete angel? It looks stronger than this quarter angel of mine. Akiji Kuzan, ah la la, it looks like an angel related to ice. Buddha's Warring States, Sakaski, well done. Black Arm Zephyr, is this angel different from a devil fruit? Vegapunk, maybe he's not afraid of seawater and sea stone? Black Arm Zephyr, humph, if you rely too much on your abilities, you can't become the top strong man. Sakaski was at the training base of the Marine headquarters in Marineford, feeling the power emerging from his body. It's rare to take off the white hat and reveal a crew cut. Sakaski stomped hard on the ground, and instantly, the freezing power that did not belong to the magma fruit was exerted at this moment. The hot air seemed to be cut by a cold ice knife at this moment, and the temperature dropped sharply. The mossy bricks could not withstand this powerful force and cracked one after another. The Navy soldiers who were training hard around were shocked by this scene and stopped. Their faces suddenly became solemn, and they turned their heads to look at the air with a lot of white frost, their eyes full of astonishment. So, what is that? The temperature dropped in an instant. Could it be Admiral Akiji? What an amazing range. Even from such a distance, you can still feel the suffocating cold air. Sakaski, who was in the center, did not feel the cold at all. Even though there was a cold snowstorm all around, his body temperature did not change much. The extremely cold blue air visible to the naked eye, with Sakaski as the center, surged to the surroundings like a tide. The cold air was chilling. In this solemn atmosphere, his figure seemed to merge with the surrounding ice fog, condensing into a phantom that towered into the clouds. Even the Navy soldiers, who were more than 10 kilometers away, were frozen by the cold air as if they were frozen in this world of ice and snow. Ha 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 ha, okay. I actually got the ability of Kuzan. Sakaski stood majestically in the air dozens of stories high, and the cold wind howled, making the cloak of justice behind him flutter. Under his feet, a pair of scarlet eyes loomed in the mist, appearing mysterious and unpredictable, and carrying a bit of deadly danger. A mechanical giant rabbit with a hideous face but as white as a Tiantian snow fox stood above the training ground, spewing out streams of icy and piercing cold air from its mouth, which was daunting, and the air was filled with an unsettling atmosphere. Jan Guo was sitting in the castle tower, looking at Sakaski through the glass in the marshal's office at this time, and couldn't help but gasp. What a terrifying cold air. Even sitting in the marshal's office, you can see that the glass on the window is covered with a layer of white cold. Soon, there was a glimmer of bright light in Sengoku's eyes. Sakaski has obtained Kyuzen's power, and he has to find a way to persuade him to kill the 4 emperors. Maybe he can kill a seriously injured and dead Whitebeard. No matter what, such a strong fighting force cannot be wasted. A gleam of light flashed under the toad glasses, and he silently made a decision about the future of the navy. After Sakaski kills the 4 emperors as the main force, he will definitely be able to retire smoothly as the Navy Marshal. At that time, the position of the next Navy Marshal will be given to the toughest and most skillful person. Ding, the trailer for the Battle of Marineford begins playing. Don Quixote da Flamingo, I always feel that the Sky Dome this time is a little different. Phew foo foo, not only the rewards have become better, but there are also trailers and so on. See Knight Jinbei. I'm really looking forward to it. Rocks D. Jibuk, I don't care about trailers or feature films. I only care about when the next random question will be asked. I still want to be resurrected. Whitebeard, Gilala, old captain, don't even think about resurrection. If you really resurrect, there will be many people on the sea who will not be able to sleep. Rocks D. Jibuk, what are you talking about? After all, I chose you, Newgate, just now, but you don't want an old captain like me to be resurrected. It really makes me sad, Newgate. Kaido, the beast, he has been dead for many years, so stop being so sentimental. Charlotte Linling, that's right, Rocks, if you are not disgusting, I am disgusting. Shiki the Golden Lion, ha ha ha, old captain, you wait slowly. Anyway, I am resurrected. On the vast sea, a pirate ship that looks like a whale is surrounded by many small pirate ships and is attacking the soldiers wearing white cloaks. The 2 brothers wearing cat claws gathered a large group of captains without any martial ethics, caught the ghost spider vice admiral wielding 8 blades and beat him up. A dreamlike and gorgeous purple-haired girl holding a huge sword blade over 40 meters long started a new round of confrontation with the white group's cutter. Diamond Jaws. The blonde man with a resolute face, wearing hard armor, turned into a flash of lightning and charged on the battlefield. His opponent is Marco, the captain of the first squad of the Whitebeard pirates. The power of thunder and lightning hissed in the air, and blue arcs of light continued to emerge. General Bud's eyes were firm, and he withstood Marco's kick with all his might. The blue-white arc captured Marcos da Flamingo was watching the show, waving his hands and shouting like a shaman, "Let's make this world even crazier." Bo Hancock doesn't care about the Navy or the pirates. He doesn't hesitate to attack them. They are all petrified on the spot. In the center of the battlefield, the 2 sides did not pay attention to the conflict below, but confronted each other tacitly. Sakaski, Borsellino, and Kyuzen stood aside, looking solemnly at the 2 people in front of them. One of them is one of the 4 emperors of the sea, the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard! The other one is Tokisaki Kurumi, who is known as the most evil elf in history. She is wearing a gothic dress, and a playful smile flashes in her eyes. Although she was standing still and confronting the 3 admirals of the Navy, her clones had already hindered most of the Navy's forces. When Tobiichi Origami felt the hostility released by Quang San's clone, she could only stop helplessly. Anyway, she is not red-haired Shanks, so she won't turn against Kurumi. Razor Enel frowned, his arrogant face full of dark clouds, and pointed a golden rod at the Bandage 3 standing in front of him. Do you want to hinder the pace of God? Bandage 3 glanced at the person in front of him with disdain, snorted coldly, and tightened the bandage wrapped around his arm. I am the Lord of Darkness. How dare a mere god question my actions? My actions are absolutely correct. Boa Hancock clearly heard the voice of a middle school girl. She frowned slightly and stopped petrifying the enemy. Instead, she looked at Bandage 3. This woman, how annoying! Who claims to be invincible and who claims to be undefeated. Throughout the ages, humans are still as disgusting as ever. The colorful hazy shadow obscured the man's true face. All that could be seen was that man tilting his head and looking at the Navy headquarters that was fighting. However, when looking at the battle on top, the shadow seemed to glance around in confusion and muttered to himself: "It seems that a strange existence is observing me in a strange way." The picture on the sky screen disappeared directly after the person in the shadow said that. "Galdi. Roger, is this the headquarters of the Navy? Oh my God, is the headquarters of the Navy so full of talents now?" Charlotte Linling. Well, the Navy in the parallel world is really powerful. To read the exciting novels, go to Falu Novel Network. Marco, Tisk, those two Shichibukai are so strong. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, that purple-haired girl seems to be a good swordsman too. Jorah Cormahawk. Finally there is a swordsman who is decent. Boa Hancock. Ha, I am loud a half, I am loud a half, I am loud a half. Do you have the strength to talk to me on an equal footing? The 7 warlords of the sea in the parallel world are finally not a bunch of weaklings who can easily defeat even rookie pirates. Crocodile, you woman. You are so arrogant. Crocodile bit his cigar tightly, exhaled a stream of smoke, and recalled the 2 new faces of the 7 warlords of the sea that he had just seen. The gloomy expression and the scar on his face made him look like he could scare a child to tears. Being defeated by a newcomer is a lifelong shame. However, judging from the lineup of the 7 warlords of the sea in the parallel world, it seems that he was also defeated in the parallel world. Otherwise, he would not be replaced. In addition, the quality of the new 7 warlords of the sea is surprisingly worrying. The weakest should be the big bear who was transformed to the point that even his consciousness has changed, right? The other 6, the Empress, Hawkeye, the purple-haired girl, the lightning monster, the white group traitor, and the sky Yasha are not weak. It feels like these 7 people united together are even comparable to the 4 emperors. Biting the cigar tightly in his mouth, Crocodile's eyes flashed with an unhappy and fierce light. It's really unpleasant. The title of the 7 warlords of the sea was revoked because of the defeat. The slender black shadow between the flowers tightly grasped the hilt of the sword, sweating and panting, looking extremely embarrassed. Yimu raised his head and watched the trailer of the top battle that had already ended, looking as if he was facing a great enemy. At the end of the screen, the colorful figure didn't look like a human at all. Yimu even had a feeling that if the colorful hazy figure wanted to, it could even destroy the world. That strength is much more powerful than the 3 ancient weapons. Who is that person? What kind of horrible history does that parallel world have? Strangely, the other people on the sky did not discuss the last colorful hazy shadow. Ding, the 355th Parallel World Summit chapter has officially begun playing. The sky curtain finally began to play the images about the parallel world. 5 years ago, for unknown reasons, a meteorite appeared on the Germa kingdom. Vince Moxola has been recuperating in an independent hospital due to his weak health. Jaishi always cares about his wife. Even the human cloning plan that was once conceived was abandoned because of his wife. The meteorite happened to fall on the hospital and crashed into Vince Moxora's ward. Although the nurses and servants were so frightened that they dared not move, and even because they were afraid of Judge's punishment, there were wet marks on the floor. However, Sora was not too scared because she saw what fell in front of her was not a meteorite at all! That was a treasure given to her by God, with long hair that reached her knees, and eyes of incredible crystal color, which exuded a unique clear and visible gaze. Since then, Sora recognized the girl and stayed by her side as her daughter. And he personally named her Yadagami Toka. Ryuju, this is delicious. Is this something you just learned? A girl with a lot of energy appeared on the pink boat. She tied her dreamy long hair into a ponytail and lay on the side of the boat, revealing her pair of clear purple eyes. She ate the delicious bread with shining eyes. The woman with long pink hair covering her right eye glanced at the cute little girl lying on the side of the boat with her only blue eye exposed. Fire burst out from under his feet, and he returned to the deck from midair, revealing a friendly smile. Yes, Toka. This is a limited edition made especially for you. To say goodbye to Atomic. Chapter 56. Vinsmoke's unique curly eyebrows were inherited by the pink-haired girl. Vinsmoke Ryuju had a comfortable smile on her face, with a slender finger resting quietly on her lips. It's really cute. Shixing sauce. I wonder which bad man will cheat me in the future. Come to think of it, for a girl like Toka, you can trick her into becoming your wife with just a few pieces of bread, right? Vinsmoke Ryuju glanced at the girl who was biting a piece of bread with a happy face, and a hint of gentle emotion flashed in her beautiful blue eyes. Who would have thought that such a girl who looks so energetic, innocent, and cute would actually be one of the 7 warlords of the sea, who are known for being extremely vicious on the sea? Ryuju, don't you want to eat? Toka, who wore a simple white shirt on her upper body, which highlighted her plump figure, saw that Ryuju was alone without even any food in her hands. With a friendly smile on her face, she split the bread in half and handed it to the pink-haired girl in front of her. Thank you. Ryuju was not too polite and accepted Toka's kindness. Her pink lips were stained with some bread crumbs. By the way, Ryuju, what exactly is the Shichibukai conference that Sora mentioned before? Why are there only 2 of us going? Vinsmoke Ryuju's face froze for a moment, but she quickly recovered and explained to the purple-haired girl in a coaxing tone. There's nothing we can do about it. It's my mother's fault for always being in poor health. Traveling long distances in a short period of time can easily cause adverse effects on your body. As for the rest of us, we have to deal with the pressure from the outside world at home. Vinsmoke Ryuju looked up at the light blue sky, her blue eyes showing a hint of complex emotions. A marriage between the Big Mom pirates, it's really curious. Why would the nun, who is Big Mom's right-hand man, suggest that Sanji and Pudding get married? Although Sora's mother explicitly rejected the nun's proposal, she also insisted that her children should have the right to choose their own happiness. However, Big Mom finally got angry and prepared to attack Germa 66. Fortunately, the nun came out at the end and persuaded 447. Otherwise, Germa 66, a mere man, would not be able to withstand the attack of one of the 4 emperors! Come to think of it, that nun is really weird. Although she doesn't have much talent, she is highly valued by Big Mom. Moreover, he clearly proposed a marriage proposal, but in the end he slapped himself in the face and cancelled the marriage just because Sora's mother disagreed. Ryuju, stop being in a daze. You haven't answered my question yet. Toka stretched out her white, jade-like palm and moved it symbolically in front of Ryuju, pouting her little mouth and looking unhappy. Sorry, I was lost in thought. Toka, what did you just say? Vinsmoke Ryuju finally reacted and looked at the purple-haired girl beside her with an apologetic smile on her face. Well, it's the meeting of the 7 warlords of the sea. What is it for? Why would we go to that kind of thing? I can't eat and I have to sit with people I don't know. It feels so troublesome. Toka scratched her purple hair with a distressed expression. She didn't really want to attend a meeting with strangers. The cool little hands gently stroked the beautiful long hair, and a touch of doting appeared in Ryuju's blue eyes. There's nothing we can do about this kind of thing. After all, since Toka has chosen to become a Shichibukai, of course we have to participate in this kind of thing. A sly smile appeared on Ryuju's face. She ruffled Toka's purple hair mischievously, and her hands kept pinching Toka's little head. Toka, you thought the title of Shichibukai was awesome, so you couldn't wait to accept the invitation of the world government and became one of the Shichibukai. Don't say you're giving up now. Ryuju still had a smile on her face, but within that smile, there was a hint of terrible danger. She learned about Toka becoming a Shichibukai from the newspaper. Who would have thought that this delicate girl who only cared about eating in the past would choose to accept the invitation of the world government and become one of the 7 warlords of the sea for the sake of a domineering title? Shixang swallowed her saliva and spoke vaguely with a guilty conscience. Who would have thought that guy was so cunning, saying that there was an endless supply of kinako bread to eat? Who can resist a mountain of kinako bread? Shixang was not confident at first, but when she heard about soybean flour bread, she suddenly became excited. You are hopeless. You will be tricked into a remote mountain valley sooner or later. Leiju held her forehead and didn't teach anything, but just sighed helplessly. Report. There is a medium-sized pirate ship sailing 30 miles away. The replica soldier of the Vinsmoke family narrated the facts he observed without any emotion. His eyes were filled with dullness. Ryuju frowned subconsciously. She had no good feelings towards pirates. Although her brother Sanji is also a pirate, she still doesn't like him. How many people have been displaced and become homeless because of pirates? Ryuju has seen it clearly over the years. Although Toka is one of the 7 warlords of the sea in name only and is recognized as a pirate by the world government, with a bounty of 770 million baileys, she is not a real pirate. Ryuju knew very well that the so-called bounty was only because Toka had defeated 2 famous pirates. Judging from the pattern of the pirate flag, it should be the recently famous Sonic pirates. The captain is Sonic the Speedster, who has eaten the speed fruit and has the ability to move very fast. The bounty is 96 million baileys, the closest person to a supernova this year. The clone had no expression on his face and read out the recorded information verbatim. Click exclamation Vinsmoke. Ryuju took out a lady's cigarette and lit it up. Her blue eyes were slightly cold, and she looked at the pirate ship in the distance with a cold look. Since we happened to encounter it in the sea, we should just sink it. It can be regarded as fulfilling the obligations of being a shichibukai. To read exciting novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Vinsmoke. Ryuju gave such an order, and did not have much time to explore the so-called Sonic pirates. Want to fight pirates. Like a little hamster, Toka stuffed the last big piece of bread into her mouth in no time. Her cheeks were puffy and she clapped her hands. No need. Shiksang, you don't need to help a small character whose bounty is not even 100 million. Ryuju calmly pinched the lady's cigarette with 2 fingers, her eyes filled with coldness. Hearing this, Toka lowered her raised right hand and happily ate the strawberry mousse again. Boom! Exclamation on the pink battleship. Dozens of shells were fired at the pirate ship in the distance. Huh? What happened? Was there an earthquake? Look, what is that? Who is this? You are so desperate that you even dare to hijack my ship. On the ugly boat painted with paint, a group of crew members were cursing. Along with the shells, a deep dark green light appeared, rising slowly from the vast sea level, like a meteor streaking across the sky. The crescent-shaped emerald green blade light, with its unstoppable force, cuts off all obstacles in the world like a gust of wind and rain. The sea seemed to be shocked by this force and split into 2. A clear crack appeared in the turbulent waves. The pirate ship was instantly split into 2 neatly in front of this unparalleled sword light. The crew of Sonic pirates all fell into the sea. Captain Sonic, because of his devil fruit ability, became a landlubber and fell into the depths of the sea. The person who made this slash was sitting on a small wooden boat with his legs crossed, using the impact force of the black knife to rapidly push the boat forward. It seems like I hit some ants. The world's greatest swordsman finally noticed the pirate ship that had been broken into countless wooden planks, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. He just randomly sent out a few flying slashes to sail on the sea, and he didn't expect to hit a ship or anything. Forget it. I should hurry to the meeting at Marijoa. If I go any later, I might be late. There was a rare sharpness in his eyes. Jor Kalmiak sat on the boat with his legs crossed, spread out the map, and wielded the black knife effortlessly. Another dark green slash was formed in the blink of an eye, quickly passing over the sea, pushing the boat towards where Hawkeye wanted to go. As the world's greatest swordsman, what does it matter if you occasionally hit a few small shrimps? Mihawk didn't even bother to use his observation haki for this kind of thing, and just pretended nothing had happened and continued on his way to Marijoa. Don Quixote da Flamingo, good fellow Mihawk. Does he have such a unique idea? Using flying slash to push the boat to glide? Gall D. Roger, ahaha, interesting young man. You can actually come up with such a great way of sailing, young man. I'm optimistic about you. Dashiki, is this the world's #1 swordsman? I always have an illusion that my faith has collapsed. How do Diyuan? This man, he is simply willful to the extreme. carefully swinging the supreme sword on the sea, forming a series of terrifying flying slashes, just to push the ship forward. Is this the world's #1 swordsman? This physical strength makes Dai Yuan envious. Dai Yuan can naturally launch a flying slash with the same strength as the Sky Hawkeye. However, it is inevitable to consume a lot of physical strength, and it is definitely impossible to be as relaxed and smooth as Sky Hawkeye. It should be said that the world's #1 is the world's #1, and he is simply a great swordsman who is extremely powerful. Red-haired Shanks, ahaha, Mihawk, the Hawkeye in the parallel world seems to be smarter than you. You used to paddle the water with a sword before Jor Kalmea. Shut up. Shanks, you bastard. Kobe, what? The world's greatest swordsman. It turns out he travels by paddling with a supreme sword. Monkey D. Garp, haha. He's such a young man that makes people feel pressured. Rox D. Zybek, terrible physical strength, monster-like slashing, and the attainment of armament hack. It doesn't seem simple either. Kaido of Beasts, haha. Old Captain, this is the world's #1 swordsman of the current era, the man known as Hawkeye. Naturally he won't be simple. Rox D. Gibber, actually what I want to say is that he is still not as good as me. Gall D. Roger, ahaha. Stop bragging, Rox. If you talk about real strength, you may win, but if you talk about swordsmanship alone, that young man is much stronger than you. They are all strong men who have been on the sea for so many years. Who doesn't have some vision? Just looking at the picture through the sky, you can see how high Hawkeye's swordsmanship is. That is enough to surpass 99.9% of the swordsmen on the sea, a general-level strawman created by pure swordsmanship. Boa Hancock, the strength comparable to that of my concubine is not bad. I reluctantly accept you as one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Meeting King Branny. No wonder the 7 warlords of the sea often arrive at the meeting place at the last minute, even though the invitations were sent out early. Is this how you sail on the sea? Mole Vice Admiral. Actually, respected world's greatest swordsman, our navy can pick you up. Akenu Sakaski. Damn it. Did you two get your heads stuck in the door like the big monster? You actually said something like supporting the pirates. Akenu Sakaski. Also, Mihawk, that bastard, clearly stuck at the deadline on purpose. He's just like the other Shichibukai. Chapter 57. Report. The mysterious swordsman was found. The dark green slash was very strong. Even the pirate with 90 million berries had no power to resist, and was thrown into the sea to feed the sharks. Vince Smoke's clone faithfully reports to Ryuju everything he sees through the telescope. Ryuju's unique curly eyebrows are tightly twisted together. Logically speaking, as members of the same lineup, there shouldn't be too much conflict. However, except for the 7 warlords of the sea, among the 7 warlords of the sea, there is no harmony between each other, let alone living in peace. It is good enough if they don't stab you in the back. Ryuju looked worriedly at the man biting the hard French bread, with golden stars flashing in his eyes and a look of enjoyment on his face. If I fight Mihawk and Toka win. Fortunately, Mihawk didn't seem to notice the situation here. It seems that they chose to attack only because the pirate ship blocked the road. Ryuju sighed in her heart. Great. I don't have to fight Hawkeye, who is supposed to have the strongest offensive ability among the 7 warlords of the sea! But the next second, a dark green half-moon arc flew and slashed, shattering her fantasy. Toka seemed to sense something, and the girl, who was originally full of energy, became more fierce. The lavender spiritual power gushed out almost instantly, dyeing the entire pink battleship with the purple color that belonged to the princess. As the aura rose steadily, Yadagami Toka's temperament also changed. She was no longer as silly as before, but became cold and scary. Under Toka's feet, there was a faint purple throne standing there. Just by gently waving his arms, a shockwave of purple spiritual power visible to the naked eye instantly turned into an all-devouring beast, aiming at the dark green sword and biting it. Pretty scary intuition and reaction. On the raft, Hawkeye no longer maintained his previous nonchalant look. His golden eyes became sharper and stared straight at the girl in front of him. Without drawing the sword, he was able to use his own strength to withstand the blows of the world's greatest swordsman. Not bad. With this kind of strength, he is fully qualified to fight against those monsters in the sea. Before Mihawk could draw his sword again, Toka took the lead. The purple sword energy that spanned all directions was thrown out by Shiksen wielding the giant sword in a flash. Mihawk smiled lightly, and there was no fear in his golden eyes. He raised his hand and pulled out the cross-like blade, and also flew and slashed at the enemy. Brush exclamation in a single breath. Mihawk threw out dozens of dark green huge flying slashes, which entangled with the purple sword energy, forming a strong shockwave. The raft under Mihawk's feet was pushed backwards by the shockwave. Hawkeye frowned slightly, without even looking, and sent a flying slash to the back, using the recoil to stabilize the raft. There was a hint of fanaticism in his golden eyes. Mihawk looked at the girl who had just seemed a little silly and cute, but now stood there like a warrior. I'm glad I used my observation haki to take a look. Otherwise, if I had missed a swordsman like you, I would have been bored for a while. Mihawk had a faint smile on his face, and raised the black knife above his head, as if he was going to make another serious sword strike to greet him. Baka baka. Shouldn't you give your name before fighting? As soon as Yadagami Toka opened her mouth, all her previous coolness disappeared. One hand on the waist, the other hand slightly grasped the handle of the knife. Yadagami Toka was fully prepared, not feeling nervous at all about being attacked suddenly. I am being rude. Mihawk smiled and shook his head, but he didn't seem to be impatient. The girl in front of him is a swordsman worthy of a fight and worthy of his greater respect. My name is Jor Kalmiya, also known as Hawkeye. My sword is the Black Blade Knight, and I am currently the world's #1 swordsman. The powerful introduction made Toka slightly stunned. When introducing yourself, isn't it enough to just say your name? Why do you have to say so much? Scratching her purple hair randomly, Yadagami Toka suddenly felt that Mihawk's words always looked very cool. So he coughed slightly, stepped on the huge throne, and said to the man in the hat on the raft, my name is Yato Toka, and I'm currently a member of the 7 warlords of the sea. My sword is Easaku, and I'm the princess of the Germa kingdom. Mihawk's dazzling golden eyes flashed with surprise. He didn't seem to expect that the swordsman girl he met by chance on this vast ocean would be a member of the 7 warlords of the sea. And the Shichibukai related to the Germa kingdom. I seem to have some impression that after the failure of the Sand Crocodile, the CP department of the world government specially invited the members of the 7 warlords of the sea. Mihawk's mouth corners slightly raised. I really didn't expect that the world government would be so far-sighted. They were able to invite the swordsman in front of them. Did the 5 elders have a brainwave? Chat room, Topman Vachulai Saint. I feel offended. J. Galusha Satan, how dare you? Emir Shichibukai, yet you dare to attack the world government. Gal D. Roger, ahaha. I like this young man, he's a very courageous guy. Kaido, hic tilde the world's greatest swordsman? I wonder if he can break my defense. Sengoku looked at the scene on the sky, thinking, I always feel that although Mihawk looks very offensive, what he said makes sense unexpectedly. Look at the current 5 elders. What kind of people are the Shichibukai invited? Whitebeard Roman too? The man who cut off Zephyr's arm, recruiting him will only cause hostility from the entire navy, and will make those who already hate the Shichibukai even more. And I heard that he is a fool, which simply lowers the style of the Shichibukai. Buggy the Clown. Although he had stayed on Roger's ship for a while, he had a good relationship with the 4 emperors Shanks, and he fooled many younger brothers and impelled down as his subordinates. However, his strength is too weak. If a stubborn pirate challenges him, it will be easy to be exposed. Sengoku shook his head, missing the former Shichibukai. Although Gecko Moria was a little weak, he had fought Kaido, the Beast King. The publicity was different, making people think that there were guys among the Shichibukai who could rival the 4 emperors. The same was true for Crocodile. A huge double-edged broadsword was easily held in the palm of Shiksang's hand. The throne beneath his feet turned into a hard armor and was draped over Toka's body in an instant. Boom! Exclamation. Before Ryuju could see clearly, Toka's figure had disappeared from the spot and appeared in front of Hawkeye Mihawk. To read the exciting novel, go to Falu Novel Network. The huge double-edged broadsword smashed down at Mihawk with incredible force. The world's greatest swordsman is certainly not just a bunch of idiots. Mihawk simply lifted the black sword upwards, and a clearly visible spark flew between the blades. Clang exclamation. The sound of metal colliding was heard, and a hint of fighting spirit appeared in those golden eyes. With a whoosh, Toka's figure disappeared in an instant. Mihawk subconsciously swung forward, but as expected, he missed. But he is not called the world's greatest swordsman for nothing. Glimpsing a wisp of purple hair, Mihawk naturally turned in the direction of the Black Knife Knight, blocking the attack of the blade as if it were natural. Bravo! Mihawk's subconscious defense was seen by Toka. Shagang then took it back, and Toka took a deep breath. If the final sword is used, it will probably completely destroy the raft under Mihawk's feet. Right, looking at the raft with the black armament haki flowing, Toka fell into deep thought for the first time in a long time. This man's spirit is really strong. The armed color domineering follows the footsteps, covering the entire raft, to avoid having to swim back in embarrassment. Zero, please give me flowers. I'm surprised you care so much about your appearance. In the battle state, Toka's little brain started to work for the first time in a long time. You're not bad either. With a smile on his face, Mihawk finally took the initiative to attack this time. Boom! Exclamation. As expected, the two swords seemed to be stuck together, and Mihawk and Toka's eyes intertwined again. However, this time, Mihawk's eyes glared, and with the sword power of the world's greatest swordsman, he followed his gaze and launched an attack on Toka. Shixang was slightly stunned, as if she felt something, and subconsciously reduced the strength of her hands. Mihawk would not miss this rare opportunity, and shook his blade, forcing Toka back. Then, before Toka could come to her senses, the huge black knife stabbed forward with unparalleled momentum. Phew! Exclamation. There was a small wound on Mihawk's cheek. Blood was slowly flowing out, while Toka stood there unharmed. Mihawk smiled and gently wiped the small wound on his cheek. He glanced at the black blade knight that was blocked by the girl's purple battle skirt, without too much thought, and calmly put the black blade knight behind him. Elfoot, an excellent defense. After praising him with emotion, Mihawk felt the pain on his cheek and was in a trance for a moment. How many years has it been since Shanks lost his arm? Humph! I got the upper hand this time. Toka groaned and took back the Aosakung and the throne-like armor on his body. She could see that the man in front of her just wanted to have a good fight with someone who could use a sword. She is very smart and can't let Hawkeye take advantage of her. She has a hearty fight with the swordsman. With a light jump, Shixing left the raft and jumped onto the pink battleship. Hawkeye. Mihawk looked at the girl with regret. Today, he hasn't had enough fun yet. What a cunning guy. Thinking back to Toka's last cunning look, Mihawk sighed and did not insist on fighting with Toka. If the fighting continues, his small boat will not be able to withstand such a battle. Even if it is covered with armed color, it won't work! Exclamation. He didn't want to swim to Marijoa. That was too undignified! Exclamation. Pulling the brim of his hat down slightly, Mihawk gently paddled the boat and left here. How are you, Toka? Are you hurt? When Ryuju saw Toka coming up again, she stared at the girl in front of her nervously, wanting to check her whole body. Toka scratched the back of her head and said to Ryuju with a silly smile: No, I stabbed him in the face. Ryuju patted her chest in fear, with an expression that said, I hope you're okay. She was really scared to death just now! Exclamation. God knows how nervous she was when she watched the two fighting on the boat. Just now, when Mihawk glared at Toka and stabbed her left hand, she was so nervous for Toka. I was afraid that Toka would lose an arm because of such a fight. Toka looked heartless and continued to eat the bread, but she revealed some inside information to Ryuju. The guy called Hawkeye just now is indeed the world's greatest swordsman. If I continue to fight like this, I'm afraid I won't see any hope of winning even if I use the last sword. There was no expression of sadness on Toka's face, but she was thinking silently in her heart, if I can reach a settlement with Tianxing, I can try to compete for the throne of the world's greatest swordsman. But when will Tianxing be willing to pay attention to her? Why do you keep sending messages without replying? Is Tianxing, who lives in the neighboring world, so busy? Yatagami Tenka was eating a small piece of bread while wondering why the neighboring Tenka didn't reply to the message. Chapter 58. Translate failed. Unknown error dot and letter 1 ed9 I dung con d stroke letter 1 ea7 yd stroke letter 1 e7 nh letter 1 ea5 pd stroke letter 1 ec3 h letter 1 ec7 th letter 1 ed1 ngt letter 1 ea3 il letter 1 ea1 Chapter 59. Well, we can compromise once. Sartan really doesn't want to continue the meaningless stalemate. As the highest power in the world, they are not idle every day posing between powers. There are other things to deal with. Wouldn't it have been better if you had done this earlier? You have to spend time with me here. Itsuka Katori raised her eyebrows and accepted the compromise of the 5 elders as if it was a matter of course. Satan frowned, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he didn't say anything. We have conditions. The golden-haired 5 elders spoke, with a hint of sharpness in his eyes. Katori curled her lips and turned away, just about to leave to say that she couldn't hear what the 5 elders said about conditions or something like that. But the next words of the 5 elders stopped Gakawa Katori in her tracks. If you agree to our terms, we can provide some information to Flaxinas. Itsuka Katori turned around with interest and sat on the chair. Oh, you 5 old guys have finally come to your senses. Are you ready to hand over the intelligence about the elves that appeared 30 years ago to me? The 5 elders wearing glasses frowned subconsciously, but didn't say much. The super large-scale space earthquake that occurred 30 years ago destroyed some small countries, and even Marijoa had to be rebuilt. The death toll of the celestial dragons reached a shocking double-digit. To this end, the 5 elders will naturally do some investigation. This investigation was like stirring up a hornet's nest. It cost the loss of countless elites before the truth of the space quake was finally discovered. After learning the truth, the 5 elders decisively classified the information as top secret. Only 6 people in the world government knew this information. Even the leader of the Knights of God, Galen Sheng, did not know. Tell me, what are your conditions? Katori half closed her glasses. The candy in her mouth gradually turned into honey and melted into her mouth. Our condition is that in this battle at the top, whoever hinders the Navy will be killed. There was a fierce light in Satan's eyes, and his murderous look was frightening. Ha. Itsuka Katori looked at the 5 stuffed toys in surprise and subconsciously asked, did she hear it right? The 5 elders, who are working hard to maintain the current balance on the ocean, would actually choose this brute force method. It's really unexpected! Although I can agree to this condition, I still want to ask why. Kinlai opened her round eyes and tilted her head slightly to show her doubts. This time, the 5 elder stars with long beards will answer the questions. Since the first elves appeared 30 years ago, causing an unprecedented space earthquake, after a moment's hesitation, Mazi Shen continued, the so-called balance has long been completely broken. The dignity of the celestial dragons is no longer what it used to be, and the civilians who survived the catastrophe are all in fear. The world government reduced the burden of heavenly gold and managed to restore the population to its current size. Yes, the world government once took the initiative to reduce the amount of gold in the sky. For various reasons, such as civilians are worried, the number of celestial dragons is decreasing, the population is too small, etc. The 5 elders considered a lot and finally decided to reduce the heavenly gold to reduce the burden on the civilians and try to restore the population to its previous number. After that, the girls who were given angelic powers by mysterious phantoms one after another became an indispensable part of the ocean. Itsuka Katori nodded slightly. That's right. The mere existence of the elves is enough to affect the pattern of the sea, not to mention that they can actively cause space tremors. The original situation on the sea was a triangle consisting of the 7 warlords of the sea, the navy, and the 4 emperors, and a dark situation consisting of the revolutionary army and the world government on both sides. But now, because of the elves and the principality of Lucilu, the balance has been broken. The 5 elders with mustaches began to explain, and at the same time clearly expressed their demands. Damn, it's time to end the great pirate era created by Roger. If we can kill Whitebeard this time, then with the current strength of the navy, together with Fraxinus, we can completely eliminate the 4 emperors. After this, it should take 3 to 5 years for a new sea emperor to be born in the new world. And 3 to 5 years is enough. It is enough for us to completely wipe out the threatening elves, the imperial weapon users who don't obey our calls, and the 7 warlords of the sea into history." There was a faint smile on Gakawa Katori's lips, and her lips were stained with a sweet taste, and her sparkling appearance was very attractive. I promised this. After all, I hate pirates too. After the 5 elders and Gakawa Katori reached a common agreement, they all chose to hang up the den mushi. The 5 elders with bald heads and glasses were the last to hang up. Before hanging up, they seemed to remember something and said to Gakawa Katori: "By the way, if Shanks chooses to intervene this time, if you don't want to hurt Shanks, you can kill all the pirates under his command. If it is still reluctant, you can choose not to help either." After the 5 elder swordsmen said this, they decisively hung up the den mushi. Itsuka Katori shrugged. "How thoughtful!" Waiwei pulled the candy bar out of her lips and threw it on the ground. Her red eyes flashed with a sharp gaze. "Next, it's time to go to the Marine headquarters to have a meeting with the Shichibukai." Between powers, what are the 5 elders discussing? Why don't you tell her about the red-haired daughter? Although Katori didn't care much about the people who were related to red hair other than him, she couldn't guarantee that she would do something irrational. Who came up with the bad idea of letting Katori go to the Music Island Elijah and kill the red-haired daughter with her own hands? Fortunately, she refused. Otherwise, I really can't imagine what the consequences would be. The war at the top is imminent, and this kind of thing happened again. It's really terrible. 3 days ago, the 5 elders received a piece of intelligence from the CP department of the world government. The once sealed Demon King, Tadamjika, was summoned by the user of the Song fruit and fell into a rampage state. Nowadays, people are losing consciousness and falling into coma on the sea. Fortunately, there seems to be a force that blocks the influence of the Demon King Tadamjika and limits the scope to the minimum. This gave the world government an opportunity to prepare. What is the progress of the Seraph developed by Vegapunk based on the 7 warlords of the sea? It is now officially available for use, although due to the incompatibility, it cannot exert the true combat power of the 7 warlords of the sea. And even due to poor development, it is smaller than the original version. However, the fighting power of the Seraph is already strong enough. To read the exciting novels, go to Falu Novel Network. The most important thing is that although the cost is high and the probability of successful manufacturing is low, it can be mass-produced. This time, I will lead the Seraphim to the island of Music Elijah to solve the case of the Demon King Tadamjika. The bald 5 elders stood up on their own initiative, with a cold light shining under their round-framed glasses. Isam V. Nasujiro say volunteered. Target, the red-haired girl Yuta. In the chat room, Kizaru Borsellino, Q. Scary. In the parallel world, even the celestial gold has been reduced. Rocks D. Jibuk, wow, haha. If we can kill all the celestial dragons on Marijoa, there will be no such thing as celestial gold, right? Topman Vultulai, you're just a pirate, stop talking nonsense. Donquixote da Flamingo, Fufufu, you're really strong, so strong that even the 5 elders have compromised. Akinu Sakaski, what is a demon king? Is it also a special product of the parallel world? Vegapunk, no, we also have demon kings in our world. Vegapunk, let me put it this way, you must have heard of the names of the 3 ancient weapons, right? Crocodile, of course I know. Pluto, the god of the underworld, is said to have the terrifying power to destroy an island with one shot. Neptune, Poseidon, the god of the sea, is said to have a terrifying weapon that can summon the god of the sea. Vegapunk, yes, the 3 ancient weapons, Uranus, Poseidon, and Pluto, are legends passed down hundreds of years ago. Vegapunk, and there is actually another weapon that can rival them and be king. Vegapunk, that's the Demon King Tadamjika. Vegapunk, due to special reasons, it was sealed in the Music Island Elijah, and only the user of the Song fruit can awaken it. Then Beckman, well, doctor, you said a lot, what exactly does it do? Vegapunk, I don't know. Jan Taumaru, Doctor, you don't know either? Kizaru Borsellino, Kao Igai, Lion, she doesn't the world's strongest brain know about this. Vegapunk, I don't have the omniscient angel's proclamation, and the relevant information is still sealed by the world government. I am usually busy with various researches. How can I know? Red-haired Shanks, no matter what demon King Tatamchica is, if he dares to lay a hand on my daughter, he will have to bear the wrath of the red-hair pirates. Then Beckman, Shanks, I will face it with you. Jesus boo, Captain, don't worry, little Yuda has grown up in our eyes. Lackaloo, are we going to fight? That's great. The red-hair pirates had no objection to the captain's order. The old crew members had watched Yuda grow up, so naturally they would not have any objections. The new crew members wanted to see how capable the world government is. Vegapunk, what are you so excited about? It was the 5 elders in the parallel world who decided to take action against Yuda, not this world. Red-haired Shanks, that seems to be true. 477 Ben Beckman, hey, Shanks, you idiot. Can't you even distinguish between reality and the sky? Red-haired Shanks, Beckman, you looked very serious just now, right? You didn't react either, did you? Then Beckman, idiot, of course I reacted. I just saw that you were in high spirits and didn't stop me. Red-haired Shanks, ahaha, Beckman, you're quite funny when you're being stubborn. The perspective of the sky finally shifted to Marineford. It was 12 o'clock in the morning. There were still 12 hours left before the battle with Whitebeard and Ace's execution. The girl with twin ponytails in a crimson military uniform looked at the people sitting in the conference room with an impatient look on her face. What happened? Why hasn't Snake arrived yet? The naval captain standing next to him answered with a stiff face. Report to General Flame Demon. Snake Princess went to push the city and hasn't come back yet. T. Pengu was wrapped in bandages. It seems that he had suffered a lot of injuries in the last Sabayati archipelago. What is a pirate doing in Impel Down? What? Do you want to be arrested like Jinbei? Itsuka Katori crossed her hands on the table. She was suddenly informed by Vice Admiral Tsuru that there was such a crappy meeting to be held. Boa Hancock, the so-called pirate queen, has not arrived yet, which is really challenging her patience. This is even more annoying! Also, don't call me General, call me Commander. There was a hint of cruelty in Katori's eyes, and she got angry at T-Bone for no apparent reason. Yes, Commander. T-Bone swallowed nervously. Vice Admiral Tsuru had specifically told him to try his best to calm this man down. Otherwise, if the Navy headquarters is burned down, it will be quite troublesome! Fufufu. That woman is really arrogant. She made us wait for so long. Doflamingo spoke in a frivolous tone, with a frown on his face. He was also a little annoyed by that woman's arrogance. So many people are here to keep her company. Even the 5 elders don't have this kind of treatment, right? P.S. I've seen everyone's comments. As for the ending of the first parallel world, it will probably end after the Battle of Marineford. Also, as for the fusion world of Bleach and Azur Lane, I'm also considering this. Actually, I originally wanted to write about Fox Spirit Matchmaker, Naruto, and Seer. I'll take a look at this in a couple of days. Chapter 60. Shiksang, don't eat so much at night. It's easy to gain weight. Vinsmoke Ryuju is wearing a purple combat uniform, looking quite cool, and is helplessly looking at the girl who is eating and drinking recklessly. It's okay, I'm an elf. Shiksang gave a thumbs up, showing her white teeth, and stuffed the bread with a happy face. Since Snake Princess has not arrived yet, Katori decides to contact Snake Princess using the video phone bug first, and then hold a meeting. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's time for Toka's midnight snack. General Bud, holding a book, was elegantly raising his knife and fork to eat the roasted steak in front of him. In 9 hours, we will face the pirate group of the world's strongest man. Although he was not the main force fighting against Whitebeard this time, he still felt a little pressure. The White Guard captains, but they are not weak! Diamond Jaws. Phoenix Marco, Flower Sword Vista. Which opponent should I choose to slack off? This is really a question worth considering. In the restaurant, only 3 Shichibukai were enjoying their midnight snack. Tiki, who looks like a black pig, is stuffing cherry pie into his mouth and looking at the two guys next to him curiously. The two Shichibukai were invited by the commander of Fraxinus, who personally negotiated with the world government and asked the CP department to send out invitations. Although they are not famous, their aura is surprisingly strong. Bud, who was wearing armor, was fine. Although his aura was strong, he seemed like someone who could handle it. What is really scary is that dreamlike and beautiful girl. Just by using his observation haki, Teach feels like he is invincible. Unsurprisingly, this woman is a real monster! Toka frowned slightly and glanced at Tiki, who was looking at her. Seeing this, Tiki laughed out loud, revealing a smile with a few missing teeth. Toka did not let down her guard and said to Ryuju cautiously, "Be careful of that guy who looks like a black pig. He looks very evil." Although the voice was very small, who were the people present? A great general who possesses the Thunder Emperor's weapon and has cultivated his dual-color domineering aura to a high level. A rebellious man who dared to stay undercover in the white group for many years just to realize his own ambitions. They heard Toka's words clearly. Teach's hand holding the cherry pie froze. A fierce light flashed in his eyes, and then he laughed as if nothing had happened. Bud still had a blank expression on his face, but he ate a little faster. The atmosphere is a little awkward, so it's better to finish your midnight snack and go back to your room. Ryuju frowned, feeling a little embarrassed. Looking at the stupid girl who seemed to be missing a string in her brain, the pink-haired Ryuju did not blame her too much. Shiksang, "I understand." The purple-haired girl nodded in relief and continued to eat and drink. On the ceiling of the room, 4 cameras are watching every move in the restaurant. And room monitoring. Itsuka Katori seems to be confirming some news with someone. You said that Nasujiro left Marijoa and brought along the recently developed Seraph? The little hand that was turning the Jaibeji candy paused for a moment, and there was no emotion in the pair of red eyes. Have you found out the reason why you left Marijoa? The Kawakatori lifted her soft and fair feet onto the table, with a pink stuffed bear resting her head on her back. Are you asking me if the 5 Elder Stars have contacted me recently? Oh, they seem to want me to go to some music island. Okay, I'll leave it to you to find out. Katori hung up the den mushi and turned her attention to the surveillance camera. There are still 9 hours left before the final battle with Whitebeard. It's so scary. I wonder how many Navy officers will be sacrificed this time. Will the other 3 Sea Emperors come to take advantage of this? But even if it comes, it's nothing. With the 3 monarchs of Flaxenus here, the Navy will definitely be able to withstand the pressure as long as not all 3 Sea Emperors come. Imperial prison. 2 old Navy men were standing on the warship, chatting casually. Garp, your grandson has created another big incident. A burly man with short purple hair and cool sunglasses smiling broadly. Ha 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 ha. Luffy is always causing trouble. Carp laughed loudly, raised the cup and poured the liquid into his mouth, smacking his lips after finishing it. If it doesn't work, you should just take your grandson into the city. If this continues, something bad will happen sooner or later. Zepha threw the empty bottle of sherry into the sea and joked drunkenly. That won't work. I don't want to see a grandson without vitality. Cap stood on the wide deck, letting the sea breeze brush across his face. He looked extremely comfortable. He took a deep breath of the fresh sea breeze, feeling the salty and moist air filling his chest. But there was a flash of confusion in his eyes. Which one should I choose? Grandson or justice? Should he knock Zephyr out and rescue Ace now before the Navy takes Ace to Marineford? Garp looked at the man being escorted to the small Navy ship, and the confusion in his eyes was clearly visible. Long time no see, Ace. Are you this old already? I'm quite serious about this. It's better to have no energy or anything than to stay outside and be chased by origami, right? Zepha's face turned red, and it was unknown whether it was intentional or unintentional. His burly body blocked Garp's sight, and Ace was successfully escorted to the warship. Origami. When Garp heard Tobiichi Origami's name, a complicated look flashed across his face. To read the exciting novels, go to Falu Novel Network. He has a good impression of this little girl who is training hard in the Navy headquarters. After all, who would hate someone who works hard? The Straw Hat Boy is the guy who inherited Roger's wool and was recognized by Shanks. Origami hates Shanks the most. Just seeing that straw hat makes her want to blow the Sabayati archipelago into rubble. Zephyr smiled and spoke the truth, as if Origami was going to smash just an ordinary pirate, not the grandson of a Navy hero. Cap showed a bitter smile, like an ordinary old man, half leaning on the mast, with a trace of fatigue in his eyes. Two grandsons, one is more troublesome than the other. After Sengoku learned that Ace was Roger's son, he had planned to let Ace become a Shichibukai a year ago. Unfortunately, Ace rejected the offer and is still active as a pirate in the New World. And Luffy is even more worrying. He keeps yelling about becoming the Pirate King, and it makes his head hurt. Now that Origami is targeting me again, I don't know what will happen! In Impel Down, the Straw Hat Kid was still looking for Ace. Zephyr, who had recovered to his peak state, was looking at the parallel world. Zephyr, who was drinking and bragging about his son to Garp with envy. Although he had recovered to his peak state and even got his lost arm back, Zephyr's most regrettable thing was that it had not changed at all. I really don't know if there is anything in the reward of the Sky Curtain that can revive his wife. Straw Hat Luffy, who was running around everywhere, finally met a one-armed, one-eyed, white-haired woman on the 5.5th floor of Impel Down. Hey, boy, what are you running around for? Stop looking around, I'm talking about you. The little devil in the straw hat exhaling white smoke from its lungs. A military green robotic arm waved its hand to say hello. Huh? Is this the 6th floor? Luffy touched the big swelling on his forehead. He didn't smile for once, but looked at the scene in front of him with a serious expression. After hearing the white-haired woman's question, he subconsciously turned his head. I'm sorry, young man. This is the central area between the 6th and 5th floors of the Impel Down City, referred to as the 5.5th floor. It's not where you expected. Neijiden responded calmly and looked to the other side. Little Ivan, why are you here? The Waist King, with unusually large dark purple afro hair, long and thick eyelashes, light blue eyeshadow and purple lip gloss, appeared. Luffy touched his head in surprise, looking at the pair of fishnet stockings that were tightened, thinking Sanji should like this kind of big sister wearing black stockings, right? Then smoke Sanji, slander. Luffy, you slander me. Wano Zoro, Chefshi, it is quite in line with your aesthetic taste, hahaha. Monkey D. Luffy, what's wrong? Sanji obviously likes this kind of fishnet stockings. Last time on the Judicial Island, I couldn't bear to attack the enemy because he was wearing fishnet stockings. Then smoke Sanji, Luffy. I told you that I was chivalrous. I didn't show mercy just because the opponent was wearing fishnet stockings. Nami, you are almost dead, and you still care about chivalry. Sanji, you are really persistent. You should thank me for saving your life. Then smoke Sanji, Arigato, Nami-chan, please let me serve you in the bath. This is the best way for me to express my gratitude. Nami, get lost. Vin smoke Sanji, okay, Miss Nami, I will definitely roll into your bathroom. Vin smoke Sora. Sanji has become a mature adult now. Vin smoke Sanji, mother, please listen to my explanation. So you're here to rescue your brother? Neijiden was holding a lady's cigarette. Her face was not clearly visible under the cover of smoke. Yes, my friends are waiting for me on Daughter Island. Luffy scratched his head subconsciously, because he did not meet the Big Bear in Champulan, and the Straw Hat Pirates who were rescued by Uemiku were placed in Amazon Lily. As for who arranged it, it was naturally arranged by the teacher, Rayleigh. That's right. When they were in the Sabayati archipelago, Rayleigh took the initiative to take Luffy as his apprentice and teach him how to practice haki and fruit abilities. I just don't know why. I came down from the 5th floor, but I didn't arrive at the 6th floor. Well done, Luffy said strangely, revealing his confusion. Hee-haw, because this is the secret base that our companions once built. Ivan had a big transformation. After injecting female hormones, a beautiful, plump, almost overflowing purple wavy beauty reappeared. Our companion was the first giant to escape from Impel Down before the legendary flying pirate Golden Lion. Ivankov's eyes flashed with nostalgia, and he introduced his companions to Luffy. Hee-haw. That's right, This is the secret base that Mori created using the power of the push-bush fruit. Nageton then added: this is also the branch of the Revolutionary Army that is advancing into the city. Shepherd 10 Pit Saint. There are branches of the Revolutionary Army in Impeldown City. The Revolutionary Army is really omnipresent. Ism Baron v. Nasashauro. Humph. No wonder there are often reports of criminals disappearing inexplicably in Impeldown. It turns out it's the Revolutionary Army. Magellan. Unforgivable. They actually did whatever they wanted in my Impeldown. Great job. Revolutionary Army. Ivankov. Hee-haw. They were discovered. Luckily there was a big escape in Impeldown, otherwise it would be troublesome. Kizaru Borsellino, the most vicious criminal in history? It's really scary. Akenu Sakaski. Come on. Borsellino, you once clamored to overthrow Dragon and become the brightest star of the new generation of the Navy. Kizaru Borsellino, I was drunk that time. Sakaski, how can you believe the words of a drunkard? P.S. The next chapter officially starts the battle at the top. Add a comment, Atomic. Alright legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.